comes Charlie Dean. Bowls to Jonathan. It's gone in the air. Should be a catch. It is! England have won. England win the ODI series. The Women's Ashes is drawn. It is an extraordinary achievement. And England, they won the T20s. They've won the ODIs. A special series, a special game, and a special performance from this England team.
A very good afternoon. It feels like only yesterday. England levelling up that Women's Ashes series last summer at Taunton, and it all begins again this afternoon in the sunshine of Birmingham, the first of 3 T20 internationals between England's women and Pakistan as the build-up begins in earnest towards that T20 World Cup in Bangladesh later on this year. It's been a busy winter for England. They've been on tours to India and New Zealand, but they begin their international summer in the warmth, the glorious warmth of England's second city. And look at the smile on the face of Georgia Elwes when we come to this part of the world, Georgia, and it puts on a show like this. How nice it is to be here, and how nice it is to finally have the international summer up and running. If you want to continue listening, by the way, to ball-by-ball commentary of the County Championship, every ball of every game available to listen to on the BBC Sport website and app. But Georgia, former World Cup winner, oh no, you remain a World Cup winner, that never goes, but lovely to have you alongside us. England against Pakistan women, and it all gets going today.
I'm extremely excited, almost the home of cricket, I would say, just down the road from the real home at Wolverhampton. Something that I've coined, obviously, the home of women's cricket, but very exciting. A lovely day, crowd filling up, and really excited to see these girls in action.
Yeah, it should be good. I'll give you the teams in a moment. I can tell you that Pakistan have won the toss. They've elected to have a bowl first. Also alongside us is Southern Vipers star Emily Windsor. Emily, lovely to see you. Let's make no bones about it. First of all, like the Sri Lanka series England lost last September, this is a series today beginning that they should be winning pretty comfortably.
Yeah, definitely, and we saw Pakistan play an England Development 11, which is sort of an England A team, and they won quite comfortably. So England should be dominant, but I think against any of these international oppositions, you can't take any of that for granted. We saw Sri Lanka come hard at England. Pakistan have been very successful this winter, playing well in New Zealand. So England still have to play well to face up to this Pakistan, particularly their spin bowling. I think is their biggest threat, but I'm very excited to see how England play in front of a packed out Edgbaston today.
And it is going to be a good atmosphere, this, Georgia. We know that around about 15,000 are going to be in, and you think back to last year's Ashes, and we heard that at the start of the programme, that memorable day that concluded it all, but it feels like this was always going to be a bit of a test to see if that energy and that enthusiasm would continue this year, but goodness me, it certainly has. Crowd filling up, it promises to be a really special game, this.
Yeah, it does definitely, and no joke about it being a fantastic place to play cricket, but it really is. The stadium here is phenomenal, and you know, we saw from the Commonwealth Games as well that the people come and they love to watch cricket here, so set to be an absolute cracker. We've got the weather for it. I think that's brought the people in to come and watch the first international of the summer, and it really feels like summer now. The weather's here and cricket's here.
Indeed, it certainly is, and the players are beginning to assemble down below us. The flag bearers, the flamethrowers already, the trophy the two sides will be playing for as well, and we'll have the news of the teams in just a moment. But let's hear from the England captain. Yesterday I caught up with Heather Knight ahead of the start of the series.
Yeah, it has come around quickly. It feels not long ago that we were back, getting back from New Zealand, so yeah, it's come around quick, but what place to start? Edgbaston. The sun's finally come out in England, which is nice, and yeah, I love this time of year, the start of the cricket season, start of the summer, and yeah, looking forward to get going, hopefully in front of a big crowd tomorrow.
And there is the extra incentive this year for this summer because you've got a World Cup right at the end of it, so every game is acting as a build-up towards that.
Yeah, it is. It's obviously a focus on our horizon. Like, we want to keep improving into that World Cup and obviously gain some momentum, but also we want to concentrate on performing in the here and now, so it's a bit of a balancing act, because we want to keep getting better as individuals in the team going into that World Cup, because we know everyone around the world is going to obviously be doing the same, and trying to get the skills in our lockers as cricketers to try and be ready for what we might face in Bangladesh is really important. But yeah, it's a huge year. We've got an Ashes not too far away as well, but it always feels like every interview I'm doing is like, oh, it's a huge year, we've got this coming up, there's always something on the horizon, so yeah, it's a lot to look forward to, which is nice.
What about Pakistan as an opponent? I mean, previously we would have said, right, England will expect to win every game. We said that about Sri Lanka last year, and you know there's no such thing these days as a straightforward series.
Yeah, of course. Pakistan have had some really good results recently. They went to New Zealand and won the series over there. So we certainly won't be taking them lightly. And they've got a new captain. So Nida Dar has taken over recently. They've had a few retirements, and often when that kind of thing happens, it can reinvigorate a team and give a chance to some younger players. So we're excited to see what they're going to bring. They've obviously got a lot of spinners as well, so that's an area of the game we've looked to get better at in the last year. So hopefully we can test our skills against them. But for us, the boring cliche, we're going to focus on ourselves and do what we do. And I think the fact that we're selling out stadiums now is through the cricket that we're playing, and the summer that we had last year was remarkable. We want to carry that on. We want to keep playing really exciting cricket that people want to come watch.
And on that, we expect 15,000 here at Edgbaston. It's going to be a special atmosphere. Saturday afternoon, sun shining. It's all set up beautifully.
Yeah, it'll be lovely. Obviously, there's a lot of Pakistani heritage in Birmingham as well, so I think it might be quite a partisan crowd. A little bit from both sides, so that's going to be really fun. I think last year was probably one of the best atmospheres I've played under, playing that T20 match here, and they really got behind us and got stuck into the Aussies. So I imagine it'll be very similar, really good crowd, and the girls thrive off that and want to kind of put on a really good show, so hopefully we can do that.
What about your team? No Nat Siva-Brunt.
Yeah, so Nat's had a minor medical procedure recently, so it's a little bit too soon for her. She'll be available for the next game at Northampton, but she'll miss out tomorrow, but be available for the next game.
And what are you looking to learn from your team? Because some real success stories in that tour to New Zealand, Maya Bouchier being one of those, but what are you looking for from your squad?
I think trying to nail down your place, I think, but also doing that in the way that's pushing the team forward and really playing the type of cricket that we want. I think in T20 we've probably closer to nailing down how we want to go about things. We've played a lot of it recently, and I think in New Zealand we learnt quite a lot as well. We played on some wickets that are a bit more tricky in the power play. Boundaries were a little bit bigger, and we had to sort of use different skills, I think. So it feels like we're evolving as a team, which is really nice. I think when we're playing on a flat one and it's short boundaries, I think we really had that nailed. But I feel like now we're really sort of evolving and developing as a side and getting those other skills we need. So whatever we come up against, it's just I want to see us problem solving, us finding a way to be successful and be effective. Hopefully some good performances.
And just finally, it's your 9th summer as England captain now. How does that feel?
I have heard that a lot. 15th in all as an international cricketer. It feels good. It makes me feel old. That's for sure. I'm still loving it. I'm still feeling like I can really contribute to the team, and I'm still enjoying it. And whilst I'm still doing those two things, I still want to be here at the helm, I guess, and still trying to push England cricket and this team forward.
Cool procedure, but we'll be back in time for that game against Pakistan at Northampton on Friday. So the England lineup is this: Maya Bouchier, Danny Wyatt, Alice Capsey, Heather Knight the captain. Freya Kemp comes in to fill that all-rounder role, but she is there only as a batter, but it is provisionally with that in mind going forward. Amy Jones playing her 100th T20 international, keeps wicket. Danny Gibson, and then the spin trio: Charlie Dean, Sophie Eccleston, Sarah Glenn, and finally Lauren Bell. So no Nat Siva-Brunt, the world's #1 all-rounder, but Freya Kemp only as a batter, and I saw her as a little punch of the air. She's a talented player, isn't she?
Yep, one of my favourites, and I think any team that doesn't have Nat Siva-Brunt in is probably going to be a little bit weaker because of the calibre of player she is. But in Freya Kemp, we have got an absolute superstar coming through the ranks, and I think it shows how much England think of her, that they're willing to play her as just a batter when actually she does bowl, and they're managing her coming back from that injury. She is one of the cleanest ball strikers I have ever seen throughout my time in women's cricket, in men's cricket, in everything. And to think that she's still so young, she's got such a mature head on her shoulders, and I'm really excited to see her play today.
You know her well as well, Emily. I mean, she is an exciting player, and it's been a slightly funny journey for Freya Kemp in many respects, because burst onto the scene, we expected that she was going to be a vital cog in the England lineup for some time, and then that back injury has really sort of stymied things in the last little while. But how much of a talent is she as a player that's going to be a part of English future?
Yeah, massive. She's going to be huge, and I think with the bat and the ball. And I think the thing that's actually impressed me about Freya, she's 19 years old, but how she's come back from these back injuries and how hard she works. We're down at the Southern Vipers, we're lucky to be around her, and I kid you not, there's no one that works harder than her in the gym. She obviously can't bat, but she's up there. She can't bowl, but she's up there batting. So she's an incredible talent. She's left-handed as well, which I think is another reason batting at 5, I think really disrupts team in the shorter format, having that left hand, right hand, and she's got a big future ahead of her, I can tell you that. And she does hit the ball very hard. I've been at the non-striker's end and fearing for my life many times.
In terms of her form recently, it will have gone under the radar a little bit, but for England's A side in New Zealand, she got scores of 48 not out, 60, 45, 80 in consecutive innings. So, yeah, serious player. And England need to find players, particularly given the fact that injuries will occur and depth and everything else, but also they need players that are going to disrupt bowling attacks. Having a left-hander vital. Also finding a way of counteracting spin. That's another area England have got to look at. Sri Lanka was a real problem for them last year. A series like this against a Pakistan side, a lot of spin bowling, it's ideal for England.
It is. It's the perfect start to the summer, I think, for them, building towards a series against New Zealand and the World Cup in Bangladesh, where spin is going to play, you'd think, a huge part in that. And I think it's been well documented how they are not playing spin as well. They've been on camps in India to try and work on that. And I think it's a mindset shift. It's their confidence in themselves playing spin. We've seen all the skills that they've got. It's picking the right options, and it's being able to do that with a sensible head. And I think a left-hander in that middle order helps with that. And I think it's for the right-handers in there, working out what works for them and being able to put it on show today against a good Pakistan spin attack.
Yeah, and it is a good attack. They've just played a series against West Indies, won one of the matches in that series. I think they'll be a little disappointed, but they were on the wrong end of Hayley Matthews in some perfect form. So they line up like this. New captain Bismar Maroof announcing her retirement recently, which is a real blow to their side. But Nida Dar captains the team. Lady Boom Boom, who's played a huge amount of cricket. Sidra Amin, Gulfer Rosa, Sadav Shamaz, Munib Ali scored a brilliant 100 in the T20 World Cup in South Africa against Ireland last year. She keeps wicket. Natalia Parvez, Fatima Sana is a familiar name, Tuba Hassan, Ramin Shamim, Wahida Akhtar and Sadia Iqbal. So that is how the Pakistan side line up. England, Emily, will be wary without being too intimidated. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. And I think the main thing they're going to be wary of, and we keep mentioning it, is their spin attack, because they're slightly smaller. They tend to bowl slightly slower than potentially English spinners. So they are going to have to adapt how they play. But I think England here are just going to look to post a formidable total. And I think they've got a very strong bowling attack as well, which we haven't talked about, with the 3 spinners, which I'm guessing they're playing as well, thinking about going to Bangladesh. Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one, but I think if England post a big total here, Pakistan will struggle to chase it down.
Yeah, and there's, I suppose, a degree of pressure, not just on England, but also on their selection panel, because they've dropped Sophia Dunkley. Izzy Wong's not got an opportunity, so there is a little bit of a sense of, well, have you got this right? Is this the right way to go? John Lewis and Heather Knight and those sort of decisions, which comes with a greater opportunity of strong squad depth, but equally, it does put a little bit more pressure.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's what Heather Knight said in her interview yesterday, is that she wants people to nail down their places. And what an opportunity for someone like Maya Boucher, coming off the back of a fantastic series in New Zealand. She's played a little bit of domestic cricket at the start of this summer, somebody that I'm really excited to watch today. But for all these girls in the side, there is a sense of real opportunity, a huge 12 months ahead, and a lot of places at stake. And I think it shows that if you're in form and you're playing well, you're going to get picked, and I think that's the way it has to be.
Right then, we're almost ready to go. Umpires Kim Cotton, who I promise I'm not going to call Dot Cotton today. It's been years I've been making that mistake. Sue Redfern's out there in the middle as well, as are England's openers. Danny Ward, he's playing a 154th T20 international. Maya Boucher, the ICC Player of the Month for March. She was leading run scorer in that series against New Zealand, well over 200 runs. And a reminder, if you want to watch this game, it's live on BBC television as well, with Isha Guha and the team. BBC 2 right now. And of course on the BBC Sport website and app, our live text service with the in-play highlights available for you to enjoy, as it will be all summer. Right, the sun is shining. The ground is looking glorious. Plenty of spectators in. We are ready to go. Emily Windsor, Georgia Elwes. Emily, take it away.
Thank you, Henry. As we see Pakistan out in the field in their green tops with fluorescent lime green numbers, and England in then fresh T20 cricket kit, nice and bright. And we're going to see Seam to open the bowling for Pakistan, and Maya Boucher is going to take the first ball. Georgia, you know a lot about Maya. What's she going to be thinking here? How's she going to go about this innings?
Well, I hope that she's full of confidence and she'll be enjoying having Danny Wyatt as a batting partner. Those two are great mates, so any nerves out there, hopefully they'll be settled by having a little chat with each other. But she'll be somebody who's looking to be positive from the get-go. One of the best techniques I've seen of an opening batter, and one of the most talented players that I think is coming through in England. So I'm really excited to see her. I'm hoping that she'll just carry on the way she went about it in New Zealand into this summer as well, and really nail down her spot in this side.
Akhtar then with the ball in hand for Pakistan. Crowd excited and in apprehension. Will be rolling right arm over from this pavilion end to Maya Boucher. She bowls, and that's left alone outside the off stump. It's a slip in play. Cautious start from Maya Boucher. There's two fielders out, a third and a deep cover, so no one on that leg side. Boucher and Wyatt having that conversation you already expected to have. Southern Vipers teammates. There's Akhtar at the top of her mark again, bowls. Slinging action, that's pushed into the offside, but straight to extra cover. Will be no run. Fatima Sana in there. What do you think, Georgia, is a score that England will be looking to work towards? Bearing in mind, we know how they want to play. We know they're going to take the aggressive option. What do you think is a good T20 score now?
Yeah, it looks a good wicket. First off, ball looks like it's coming through. I think they'll be targeting anywhere around 150, 160 from the get-go.
Akhtar in again to Boucher. That's down the leg side, whipped nicely, and that's going to race away just about to the boundary cushions, and that will be signalled 4 runs to Maya Boucher. That's her international summer under the belt. She's off the mark, and 4 without loss, England.
Yeah, she's up and running, just strayed a little bit too far down the leg side and not as much swing on offer there. Maya Boucher's not going to miss out there. Like you say, only 3 fielders on that leg side, so she only needed a little tickle on it, and it raced away down to the boundary, and that'll make her feel a little bit better.
Can settle in now. Those nerves have just been eased off Maya Boucher's head. There's Akhtar in. She's got a headband on. Bowls with a slinging action. That's hit in the air. There's a cry, catch it and taken. That's the first wicket. And Boucher is going to be disappointed. Chipped straight to mid-off. And England 4 for 1.
Not a shot that Maya Boucher is going to want to see again. A little bit stuck in 2 minds whether to go all the way over the top or to get it along the ground. And in the end, she did neither, and she just lobbed up a simple catch to the captain, Nida Dar, who took the chance, and Maya Boucher is on her way. She'll be very, very disappointed with that. Just as we were talking her up as well, typical commentator's curse that she has to go. And with that, it brings Alice Capsey to the crease, who, again, is one of the brightest future talented stars in this country.
Yeah, and we haven't seen her play any domestic cricket, so she's had a bit of time where she hasn't played, so whether we will see some rustiness from her. Sometimes a break can be good, sometimes you're going to be searching for those first runs, but big wicket that for Pakistan. Maya Boucher gone for 4. She will be disappointed, and Pakistan are going to be thrilled with this start. Do you think the pace of Pakistan's seamers have an effect? Because obviously the seamers that Boucher would be facing in the nets in English domestic cricket, the ball does come on that little bit quicker, and potentially from a slightly higher release point. She's quite small and she's slingy. Do you think that could have affected
Definitely
her?
I think she was beaten for pace, but not in the usual sense of it. I think she was expecting the ball to come onto the bat a lot quicker than it did.
Capsey then faces up as she triggers, and that's a play and miss. That's gone through everything. I don't think there was anything on that. The bowler has hands on head. Was it an inside edge? Yes, it was. And she was beaten for pace the other way as well, wasn't she?
I think that was a brilliant delivery. Usually gets a little gentle away swing, and she has completely outfoxed Alice Capsey there, who does, I don't know if it's come off the face or just missed by the keeper. A real chance, and a beautiful delivery by Akhtar.
Slightly tentative this from England and Alice Capsey. Pakistan are going to feel right in this. There's a slip in play. Keeper stood back. Akhtar in again to Capsey, and she pushes that back to her on the back foot. Will be no run. That's the end of the over. First over then 8 9-1 England. Balanced start, that, isn't it? I feel a lot's happened.
Yeah, it's been a lot, hasn't there, in the first 6 deliveries of the international summer. Yeah, obviously really disappointing for Maya Bouchier to almost give her wicket up in the fashion that she did. I mean, 8 on the board, but probably not the most convincing start for England. So the experience of Danny Wyatt to face up this over, and Danny Wyatt actually played in that game in the week against this Pakistan 11 and scored some nice runs. She scored 57 from 34 deliveries, showing all of her experience. And another one who's not played a huge amount of cricket at the start of this summer, but somebody that probably doesn't need to and has enjoyed having a bit of time off, knows her game incredibly well, and has been so successful at the top of the order in T20 cricket for England. 154 T20s is a remarkable achievement, so looking forward to watching her.
I'm going to see spin from the Birmingham end. Sadia Iqbal, the left arm spinner, bowling to Danny Wyatt. That's slow, and that's pushed out to a deep cover. They're going to run the first one hard, but I think they're settled for a single. That's Danny Wyatt off the mark. 9-1 England.
Yeah, nice gentle start from her, wasn't it? Favoured offside. Nice hard volley. And just drives it, gets up the other end. She's seen some carnage in that first over, and
and she's not involved for once. When Danny Wyatt's batting, there's always something happen, isn't there? Well, actually, whenever you're playing with Danny Wyatt, there's something happening.
She's quite a character. She's brilliant.
So the field changed to Alice Capsey. There was a deep cover, and that field has been brought up into the circle. And we see a deep mid-wicket and a deep long on, as Capsey just walks away to the umpire and composes herself. Iqbal, with ball in hand, round the wicket to Capsey bowls, and that's forward in defence. Will be no run. 9-1. What a beautiful day. The crowd coming in here at Edgbaston. I love the hum that you get here. It's a really enclosed ground. There's Iqbal in bowls. That's down the leg side, taken well by the keeper Ali. Wide signalled. 10-1 England. Capsey has 4 runs to her name, but it wasn't a convincing 4. It's an edge through the keeper. Iqbal, and again advances, hits to mid-off. Again will be no run. Some pressure being built here from Pakistan.
It's good from Iqbal. She's not let Alice Capsey get away at all. Kept the stumps in play. It's delivery.
I love the aggression as well with slip in play. She looks quite deep. As Iqbal in again bowls, and that's pushed out into the deep mid-wicket. They're thinking of running 2. Again, settle for the single. Great fielding in the deep. Capsey will move to 5 and the score 11-1. I'll tell you what I love about grounds at this time of year is how lush the square looks. It's actually 2 shades of green rather than that darky brown that you get when it's a used track. There's Iqbal from the Birmingham end again bowls, and Danny Wyatt advances, and she's literally just hit that into her own foot and limps to square leg. It looked like she hit it harder, and then the ball went nowhere.
She limped away sheepishly.
Her foot's taken the brunt of that, and that will be a bruise later. But there's a deep cover, deep mid-wicket to Danny Wyatt. As she's in again, that's fired, that's hit to mid-on, and taken! Mid-on inside the circle, and Pakistan are up and about here. Iqbal has her wicket now. England are in trouble, 11 for 2, and Danny Wyatt has gone for just the 1 run.
Yeah, it's a pressure shot, isn't it? Not had a huge amount of the strike. Iqbal had bowled well in this over, not allowing England to get away, and Danny Wyatt's tried to go over the top, and I think again the slowness of the pitch, maybe of the bowler, not allowed her to get underneath it and hit it over the top where she's wanted to. She just dragged it straight to mid-on, simple as you like catch, and she has to go. And Pakistan are right on top now. Brilliant over from Iqbal at the end of the second. They're 11 for 2.
Listen to that applause. The England captain Heather Knight stride into the crease, and I feel like when England are in this situation, the calmness of Heather Knight is what we need.
It is. She's got it all, hasn't she? She's come under some scrutiny for her T20 game, but the way that she can adapt her game, she can play in the power play, she can settle batting collapses, she can accelerate the scoring when she needs to, and she's again somebody that's really pleasing on the eye to watch. And I should have been in this situation plenty of times throughout her 15-year international career, she said at the toss.
The ball is bowled, that's hit high in the air, this could be another wicket. Mid-on is under it and takes the catch. Alice Capsey has now gone, and Pakistan are running round like they've won the World Cup almost. It's 12 for 3 England, and Capsey has just gone for a heave into the onside. She's walking back for 5. England 11 for 3.
Well, it's not the mode of dismissal you want when you've just seen the 2 opening batters get caught in exactly the same way, trying to go over the top. The pitch is obviously slow, the bowling is slow. These England batters threw their shots too early and have just dollied up the easiest of chances. Pakistan have gratefully received, taken, and they are up and about here. They really sense this is an opportunity. England in all sorts of trouble at 11 for 3. You have to say it's been poor England batting, giving their wickets away rather than anything really special from Pakistan here this afternoon.
And I know they talk about, don't they want to take the aggressive option, but give yourself a chance. You've faced 3 balls.
You've faced 3 balls and you've watched 2 people get out in pretty similar circumstances. There's got to be an element of switching on, but like you said, Alice Capsey probably not played the amount of cricket she would have wanted to this summer coming into an international series, and maybe there's an element of rust and just getting back to batting again and to learning how to build an innings, construct an innings. It's a really difficult balance because you don't want to take away their aggressive nature. They want to be playing in this aggressive and attacking style, but there's a lot of balls in a T20 game, and working at the pace of the pitch and giving yourself a chance is something that I would think that they would want to do.
Akhtar, with 2 wickets to her name, will be bowling to the left-handed Freya Kemp. And speaking of opportunities, what an opportunity this is for her to bat. She's got 17 overs, and one thing I've been impressed with Kemp is the use of her brain in domestic cricket. As Akhtar's in, that's outside the off stump. She's gone for a booming drive. That looks very wide, but it's a dot ball. See Redfern just walking away. What will Freya Kemp be thinking here? Will she be fazed by this?
Not at all. I think she'll be licking her lips about the amount of time that she'll have to bat. Coming in the power play, fielders inside the ring. She can just play good cricket shots, and we've spoken about how hard she hits the ball, how well she times it. She doesn't need to do anything too dissimilar to her natural game.
Third and square on the rope she bowls, and that's come back towards Freya Kemp, taken well by the keeper. Good carry coming into the left-hander. She's almost like she's got that extra little bit of pace now. She's got the wind up her tail. She's got 2 wickets.
Yeah, they're sensing a real opportunity here, Pakistan. They've bowled well, good areas, nice and tight lines. There's a little tiny hint of swing out there.
Akhtar round the wicket, in again. Play a miss outside the off stump again by Kemp. She looks into the air in frustration. The noise we hear out there, it's very much the Pakistan team at the moment. Attacking field, there's a ring on the offside, a slip in play. The captain, Nida Dar, in the conversation with her bowler, and Freya Kemp's looking into this onside here. As Akhtar round the wicket again, bowls, that's driven beautifully, but a great stop. She's thinking of running. There's going to be a run out here. They're both at the same end. Throws to the keeper, and this will be sent upstairs. But Georgia Elwys, from this angle, I think that might be a 4th England wicket.
She's out. She's definitely out. An awful mix-up. Freya Kemp hits a beautiful straight drive. Akhtar sticks a boot out. There's a ricochet, and Heather Knight must have not been able to hear the call. Freya Kemp's nearly run a 2 in that time. She's run there and back and scrambling for her ground. Heather Knight was just completely unmoved. Couldn't have heard the call, and Freya Kemp standing there waiting for the decision, but I think she's a long way out. And what a disappointing start. Completely Pakistan on top now, and England with real trouble, 11 for 4. Can't believe it.
I'm lost for words, Georgia. That was Akhtar off her own bowling. She picks the ball up, throws it to the keeper's end on the bounce. And Freya Kemp has had to go without scoring. Slow walk off. Heather Knight is still there at the non-striker's end, but just to reiterate, England are 11 for 4 in the third over of this first game of the international summer. It's a 3-match T20 series, a 3-match ODI series against Pakistan. All the talk before is how dominant England are expected to be in this series, and they're 11 for 4, Georgia Elwes.
It's baffling to me. I think Pakistan, they've bowled well, they've bowled tight lines, but it's not been anything that England have never faced before. It's not huge spin. The pitch looks good. Maybe they're expecting a little bit more pace on the ball, but all of their pre-match analysis has got to have been about the pace that Pakistan bowl, how they play, what they're going to do to counteract it. And 3 really soft dismissals, 3 caught on the ring trying to go over the top, all in the same sort of fashion from the opening, or from the top 3, and then a really unfortunate run out, which I feel like just could have been avoided.
Yeah, and a reminder, if you want to see the pictures, we are live on BBC Two now, or you can go online to the BBC Sport website. You can see the in-play clips and highlights, but if you're an England fan, it's not pretty watching so far, as Wahida Akhtar will be bowling to Amy Jones. That's 4 on leg stump, and in defence will be no run. And that's the end of the over. That's third over's gone. We're halfway through the power play, and England are 11 for 4.
Well, it can only go up for England fans, can't it? It can only get better, surely. This is not the start they would have wanted. I mean, one thing I would say about this England lineup is they do bat deep. You've got Sarah Glenn carded to come in at number 10, which, and she can certainly hold a bat. So they're just going to have to spend a little bit of time rebuilding, and Amy Jones is come off the back of a fantastic series in New Zealand with the bat as well, which will give her confidence, her home ground, her 100th T20, and an opportunity for her to bat for a long time, which she doesn't always get in T20 cricket. So for these two now, it's probably best 2 out of this England side to have in this sort of situation, and hopefully bat for a little bit of time. Can't believe we've only had 3 overs. It feels like a lot's been going on.
Iqbal will continue from the Birmingham end. The left arm spin around the wicket tonight. In defence will be no run. And these two, the experience they've both now got, is Amy Jones' 100th T20 appearance today, so congratulations to her. And Heather Knight, who's also played over 100 T20 games. We've got experience in the middle England. Iqbal round the wicket. That's down the leg side, not taken by the keeper. I think this will be signalled wide. Yep, so that will be 2 wides. And applause for the crowd. I think we've moved up to 13 for 4.
Well, that 150 that we spoke about at the start of the show is probably looking like a little bit far off, but a rebuilding act certainly for these two. And still, I think with 140 on the board, England are in this game.
Iqbal just changing her field. She's put a mid-wicket in play, so there's no one at square leg or deep square leg. So with this field, long on and a deep cow corner, you need to bowl very full. But they can be attacking now because they've put England in this position as Iqbal bowls, and she uses her feet and just plays that up to mid-on along the floor. And the score moves to 14 for 4. Amy Jones off the mark.
And just allow these two to play very sensibly. I don't need to take any undue risks. There's plenty of runs on offer out there. Big, huge gaps in the leg side. And just see the slip just coming out now for the last... there's still 4 deliveries left of the over, but slip coming out.
3.2 overs gone as Iqbal in bowls, and that's pushed into the offside. They think about a single, but correct call of no. As Iqbal walks back to her mark, just a short run up She's got sunglasses on. Beautiful day. Slightly cloudy. It's nice and warm outside. Iqbal in again, bowls, and that's played to mid-wicket. Heather Knight's running the first one hard. They're going to think about 2. Amy Jones is going to come back for 2. Good running, good manipulation. The field by Heather Knight. She's off the mark now. She's on to 2. And the score 16 for 4, England.
Yeah, it's good from Heather Knight, isn't it? No nonsense. And just tucking the ball away into the leg sides. Big boundary out there. The field is quite deep as well. So with Amy Jones at the other end, he can come back for 2.
Iqbal round the wicket tonight. That's played into that same mid-wicket gap. The fielders are charging in. I think it's going to be the same result. Amy Jones changes her mind. Fielder was quick to that from long on. So just a single. Heather Knight moves to 3. 17 for 4, England. Just a reminder, Nat Sciver-Brunt had a minor medical procedure. She wasn't quite ready to play today. We're expecting to see her later in this T20 series, but when England are in a situation like this, she's a player they miss as she bowls, and that's played up to mid-on by Amy Jones. All along the floor, she picks up a single. 18 for 4, England. That's 4 overs gone. And a bit of calmness, that over.
It felt a lot calmer, didn't it? I think that's what these 2 have got to do out there in the middle now. Just knock the ball around. Of course, when there's a ball to put away, they need to do it. It looks like a good wicket, it looks a good surface, a true outfield, and these 2 can run well as well. There's plenty of 2s out there on offer, and they're very experienced players. They've been in these sorts of situations before, and like we said, England bat very deep, so still a lot of batting to come, a lot of depth, and of opportunity for this England middle and lower order to show what they're about.
As we would expect, picking up 2 wickets for England. Akhtar continues, so she'll be bowling her 3rd over from this pavilion end. Into the England captain, Heather Knight. That's chipped into the onside. A diving attempt would have been a spectacular catch. She went one-handed at backward point. But Heather Knight has been dropped. But they come through for a single. Amy Jones, sorry, that was facing that delivery. That's one of those that they either stick or they don't.
Yeah, just trying to work it into the onside against the swing and just got a leading edge, and it hung in the air for a while, didn't it? But she couldn't quite get her hands to it.
Akhtar in tonight. That's play a miss outside the off stump. Shaping away from the right-handed Heather Knight. Is there pressure, Georgia? I know we're working towards that T20 World Cup that's happening in October. Heather Knight said openly in the media, and I'm sure she's saying to players, come on, you can keep your place, you can earn your place in these T20 World Cups. As Akhtar comes in, and that's cut down to 3rd man for a single. Heather Knight will move on to 4, and the score 20 for 4. Is there pressure on this England top order, do you feel? And how do they go about reining that in? Because they want that opportunity, but how they've played today, none of them have taken it.
There'll be pressure. I think there's always pressure when you put on an England shirt, and there will be nerves, and it's about how you deal with them. Fortunately, 11 for 4 is not the best start.
Akhtar to Jones, that's cut, but only into extra cover. There's a misfield, so Amy Jones will come through for a single. A rare misfield we've seen from Pakistan so far. 21 for 4, England into the 5th over.
But there's also a style of play, isn't there? And it's talked about a lot, the way they want to go about playing their cricket, and whether that brings out an element of extra pressure. You know, they've faced a few dot balls and then gone for a big shot. I think there's always going to be elements of pressure, but it's got to be a good pressure. It's got to be something that they expect now. The depth in this country is improving year on year, and it's fantastic for women's cricket, but it does bring about its challenges.
Akhtar right arm over, play a miss outside the off stump. Heather Knight just pushing for a drive, and goes through the Pakistan keeper Ali.
It's been a brilliant opening spell from Waheed Akhtar, playing and missing England batters, and creating all sorts of problems out there.
Are you surprised not to see the England batters using their crease and in terms of coming out of it where the pace is so slow? As Akhtar in again bowls, that's pushed into the offside. Knows the call, and that's a dot ball to finish the over. That's 5 overs gone. The score 21 for 4, and he'll be left with World Cup winner Georgia Elwys and be joined by fantastic Henry Moran.
Yeah, I am quite surprised that they haven't come down the wicket, tried to negate the swing. We saw the only person that we've seen do that is Freya Kemp, and she hit a belting straight drive, but unfortunately it was run out off the same ball, so not being the best start, let's say, for England.
So I've been out the back. What have I missed? Honestly, I can't believe it, Georgia. This hasn't gone to plan, has it, for England?
Not at all.
But I suppose things could only get better. Well, just looking at the impact points that shown on the BBC television coverage live on BBC Two right now, they're not playing slow bowling again. We spoke about this, and they say, we've worked very hard on this in the winter, and the impact points, they're just reaching for it. None of it is below the eye line. It's all way out in front.
Yeah.
Those 3 catches, Capsey, Bouchier, Wyatt, horribly mistimed. 21 for 4 then, 5 overs gone. Amy Jones is on the strike slip in place. Fatima Sana is going to bowl, and Jones will defend back up the track. And there is a gentle ripple of applause for the England wicketkeeper, who is making her 100th T20 international appearance, which is some milestone for Jones, who's from this part of the world. Used to be on Aston Villa's books as a youngster, as a footballer. No, you can't be like that. The football season, I know, hasn't quite finished yet, is it? Not the mighty Wolves.
Not the mighty Wolves.
Fatima Sana at the far end of the ground. I was expecting some insightful analysis, and all I got was boom. In comes Sana, right arm over the wicket, and Jones will tickle that round the corner. I think probably off the pads, and it's a good tumbling take behind the stumps, and so there will be no run. 21 for 4. At least it's better than the 11 for 4 it was a while ago.
I know, I was saying to Emily that actually these two are probably the 2 in the whole of the 11 that you would want at that point. They've been there before. I know how to build and construct an innings from this point, and England will still be looking to get up to around to 140, or that sort of mark.
Fatima Sana gallops in. Jones gets lucky inside edge onto the pads. Could easily have found its way crashing back into those stumps, and no surprise that the Pakistan fielders, they're up and about. They are as energised as the number of confectionaries advertising on their shirts would make you, I suppose.
What a fantastic sponsor.
The local, put it this way, we are very near the touring place where you can go.
I hope they have. I hope they have.
Yeah, the world, the purple.
The purple world.
Yeah, that's the one. Jones then. 4 from 8, and here comes Sana in again, and Jones chases the ball outside the off stump. The keeper does well to manage to push the ball and nutmeg the fielder waiting at slip. It then is retrieved by Tuba Hassan. 21 for 4 becomes 23 for 4, I think, or no, it's just the 1 run taken. And so, in fact, was it a bye? Yeah, nothing on it. So 22 for 4 with Jones remaining 4 from 9. She had an excellent back end to that series in New Zealand, Amy Jones, who has got her highest ODI score of 92, not out, 48 and a 50 in consecutive innings in the ODIs. And here comes Fatima Sana to bowl to the England captain, Heather Knight, who gets the ball down the leg side. That'll be wide. Kim Cotton stretches the arms out towards the Holly stand, which has got a few. I can see some fancy dress there. There's the Baywatch contingent over there. There's a few others. I don't know if that's a gentleman in fancy dress or just an orange t-shirt. It's going to require more research. But a lovely hubbub around the ground in the sunshine, and it feels like all is right for with the world, but not for England at the moment. 23 for 4. Knight waits. Fatima Sana outside the off stump and chasing a wide delivery is Knight. Toe end of the bat down towards deep third, where the ball is slung in left-handed by Sadia Iqbal. England get 1 more to a total that has crept up very gently. The power play is 1 ball from coming to an end, and actually I think we'll see the run scoring sort of rather conversely pick up a little bit, because England will be able to just nudge it around for singles, ones, twos. But I'll go through exactly what we've seen so far. It has been dramatic. Much has gone on. Sana at the end of her mark, running in towards us from the city end. To bowl to Amy Jones. It's a wide delivery. The line has not been quite right from Fatima Sana. And it goes down the leg side. She does signals wide in a very austere way, Kim Cotton. It is a serious business when you're signalling a wide.
She is somebody you would not want to mess with.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
No, she looks very straight-laced, stone-faced.
Yeah.
She's not a, hey, how are you?
Not what?
Don't think so.
No, okay. Because some Kiwis, it's all smiles. But when they're serious. In comes Fatima Sana, bowling to Jones, whipping it through mid-wicket. That could be 4 runs, skipping away across those used pitches, out towards the boundary. And there is a cheer of relief from England supporters as the power play comes to an end. With a very rare 4 runs, England have struggled in these first 6, 29 for 4, having been asked to have a bat first by Pakistan. And they've lost wickets in cluster at the start of the innings that left them at one stage at 11 for 4, when first Maya Boucher was out for 4, and then Danny Wyatt for 1, and Alice Capsey for 5, and then Freya Kemp out without scoring to the 4th ball that she faced. She played and missed at 3, then drove one beautifully down the ground, hit the foot of the field, of the bowler rather. Heather Knight was ball watching, probably Knight's fault, really. And in the end, Kemp was sent back where they probably had time to run about 2. And she was run out without scoring. So England 29 for 4, and we're going to see Wahida Akhtar, who opened the bowling, having a bowl from this pavilion end in the Birmingham sunshine, with the green of the trees beyond that stand in the distance. And Heather Knight on strike. Field has spread 4 allowed outside the circle. And so we've got a gully in position, that sort of catching spot as Knight comes forward defensively, and there is that single that England will be able to find with ease and regularity, just nudged towards mid-on. Nida Dar moves to her right, the captain, who is directing traffic out there, having taken over from Bismar Maroof, who was recently retired, a real stalwart of the Pakistan game. And she, for a while, was bringing baby Fatima on tour.
Yes, lovely.
Her little
really
one.
Lovely to see that was. And yeah, fantastic player. She'll be sorely missed by Pakistan. Her experience, her run scoring. With Lady Boom Boom at the helm, I think Pakistan might just be a little bit reinvigorated and feel like there's a lot to play for.
Here is Wahida Akhtar to bowl to Amy Jones. Struck on the pad, appeal for LBW, which feels incredibly optimistic, and a tilt of the head from Sue Redfern to tell us that it's not out. Yeah, Nida Dar, who's playing her 147th T20 international. And compared to the rest of the squad, you're looking at players who, very few have played over 50, many in single figures. So it is quite an inexperienced squad. But she is somebody that, having made her debut 14 years ago to the month, is very much been there and seen it all. Wahida Akhtar runs into bowl to Jones, who goes hard into the leg side. She's got a big chunk of it, and she's going to get a 1 bounce 4 towards the Holly stand. That's a good shot. Amy Jones targeting that shorter boundary, 57 metres. That's all that hit is. She probably got about 56 of them there. It's 34 for 4.
Yeah, lovely pickup of length, wasn't it? So quick onto that short ball. They've not had much to get their hands through England in this opening power play, so Amy Jones gratefully receives that, and the crowd loved it too.
So that fielder goes a little bit squarer. So here comes Akhtar once again to bowl to Jones, who slaps towards cover. Oh, horrible piece of fielding. Goes right through the legs of the fielder waiting at cover. England will turn for a second. It's going to be quite a tight one, but they do get there, and the crowd are willing on everything at the moment. As the score moves to 36 for 4, it was Sada Iqbal who just didn't pick that up, and that'll be really frustrating to Nida Dar, because they've had such a good start. Don't let England get away, should be thinking. That was just honking fielding.
Been a little bit sloppy in that extra cover region. A couple of misfields there, a couple with the keeper as well.
Actor bowling to Jones, who again targets the offside. Nice connection out towards deep cover this time for one more. She moves to 15. England 37 for 4. It felt very reminiscent of that Sri Lanka series when those wickets were falling, didn't it?
Yes, I think with all the talk, a big summer ahead, playing spin, Bangladesh, World Cup, England would have wanted a much more positive start.
Comes Actor bowling to Knight. There's one down the ground, easily enough. The crowd are getting enthusiastic, and the over comes to an end with Wahida Actor now having bowled her 4, and finishes with excellent figures of 2 for 20. England 38 for 4 then after 7 overs. Well, they've been positive, as I heard somebody next door say. Yeah, positively rubbish.
I wonder who that was.
Well, I'm not going to name any names. It would be ingallant of me to do so. A reminder, on our television coverage at the moment, you'll find Isha Goy, Ebony Rainford Brent, Atif Nawaz, Andy Zoltzman's there with the stats as well. Live on BBC Two. You can get in touch with us using the hashtag BBC Cricket if you want to let us know where you might be listening. It's sort of day where you might maybe planting a few bulbs in the garden.
Yes, absolutely, that'd be lovely.
Possibly.
A little ice cream in hand.
Maybe thinking about a barbecue. Tell you what are we going to see here? I think that is Ramin Shamim who's going to have a bowl from the far end of the ground. So some off breaks from somebody playing just her 8th T20 international. She has captained the Pakistan A side, but went 5 years without playing an international before the recent series against the West Indies. She's going to have a bowl with cap on. So the England captain Heather Knight in now. Knight will chase a ball outside the off stump, which was possibly too wide, but no, says Kim Compton. Where do you stand on bowling in a cap?
I don't mind it, actually. I'm going to sit on the fence. I don't mind.
Really?
If it keeps the hair out of her face, then.
Be controversial. Where's the fun in that? Here comes Shamim once again. Knight waits with bat raised and slaps it towards backward point, where the ball will be fielded by Chuba Hassan.
I think as a spinner you can get away with it.
You know who revolutionised the cap-wearing bowler?
Go on.
I reckon I could give you 1,000 guesses and you wouldn't get it. In comes next delivery, which is hit into the ground, and the bowler moves to a right to pick up. A former England opener.
Male or female?
Male. Here comes Shamim. Running in, bowling to Knight, hits the ball over extra cover, has got a good chunk of it. It'll go out towards the boundary, towards that scoreboard, and she finds 4 runs. That's a good shot to move to double figures. Field up inside the circle. There was a fielder out at long off, but it had enough on it, and England 42 for 4 and beginning to build something here after that horrible start. I'll show you a picture of Geoffrey Boycott bowling in a hat.
Wow.
Look at that.
I wouldn't have got that. Looks like he's bowling quite quick.
Yeah. Here is Knight. Oh, that's a good shot. Sweeping firmly, crashes into the boundary at square leg in a heartbeat. And suddenly the pressure really is being put on Pakistan here as Knight finds the ropes in back-to-back deliveries. England move to 46 for 4. And the world seems a little brighter to them.
Yeah, well, Shamim's persisting with this wide outside off stump plan. She's got a square leg in the ring, and then a fielder at cow long off and out at cover, and she just strayed a little bit too straight then, and Heather Knight, quick as anything, quick as a flash, excellent on the sweep, and it raced away.
Both Knight and Jones are on 15. England 46 for 4. 1 ball left of the 8th over. And Knight will defend back up the track. And so with 8 overs having been bowled, England 46 for 4. They were 11 for 4, so this does represent a recovery. So yeah, Geoffrey bowled in the 1979 World Cup final, no less. His medium pace was wearing a cap.
Well, if he's good enough for Geoffrey, it's good enough for me.
Well, there you go. So 8 overs gone. Good crowd in as well. Alex Hartley's been sent out and about on television duty.
Is she roving?
Yeah, she's the roving reporter.
Love it.
Last year she nicked someone's chips, I recall.
Let me guess where she's gone. The Hollies.
I would have thought it's likely. The Holly stand, the livelier part of the ground. One of the great stands in world cricket. It's like Bay 13 at the MCG. There's certain parts of certain venues that just have a little bit of something extra to them. Just a bit of a guide, by the way, for what England will need to get to reach the sort of target they'll feel was defendable. 8 and over from here, get them to 146. So Amy Jones waits for Tuba Hassan, and a short ball is flogged into the onside out towards mid-wicket for a single towards Sidra Amin, and 47 for 4 the score. Tuba Hassan, who was a part of that World Cup squad that played in South Africa last year, she's 23 years old and a very useful leg break bowler. Tosses the ball from one hand to the other. She's played here before as well. She was part of the Pakistan squad in the Commonwealth Games a couple of years ago. She moves in to bowl to Knight, deep in the crease, cutting that ball out towards the deep. She'll get at least a single and a little bit of a fumble from Sadaf Shamaz out there way to our left, but there won't be a second run. And the score 48 for 4.
Actually, these two might be two of England's best players of spin, which bodes well for this little period.
Tuba Hassan again, as Jones, deep in the crease, hits the ball firmly, viciously down the ground, and clearing the bowler, but not the fielder, moving to a right at long off, Fatima Sada. So just the one run taken. It was a cross-batted heave. It didn't score particularly highly on the elegance front, but it was quite effective.
Tennis shot, wasn't it?
It was, really. In comes Hassan, bowls to Knight, defending. And England still one shy of the 50 at the moment, with 2 balls left of that 9th over. I mean, they'll feel anything north of 100 they should defend, I think, with the bowling attack they've got. It'll be a good game. Hassan in, bowls to Knight. Oh, almost chops on. Gets very fortunate. She played it so late, but almost played it onto the stumps. Remains at 49 for 4. Knight 16 from 20. A few clouds rolling overhead, but no threat of rain at the moment. Here's Hassan bowling to Knight, who comes forward, slaps it over mid-on, and that's going to be runs, 4 of them. 1 bounce and 4 to bring up England's 50. And using her feet, coming down the track, and I'm glad to see England doing that, because it's something we really didn't see much of in the opening overs when things were going so horribly wrong. But it's 4 runs to finish the 9th over, 53 for 4.
It was a good shot from Knight, using her feet, long on. Well, it's mid-on inside the circle, so she knows she only has to clear that fielder and she'll get value for the shot. It's a good option against slow leg spin. You don't get much variety. We see her go to that reverse sweep quite a lot against left arm spin, but against the leg spinner Tuba Hassan, not a huge amount of pace, so she won't get the value for that shot. So I think both of them coming at the ball, attacking the ball, picking up length, that's the key. But both of these two have great footwork against spin, and that's how they'll find it easier to play it.
Amy Jones is on strike. Shamim bowls. Jones hits the ball firmly across the line. Might have found a gap here and has. That's 4. Good shot from Jones, just reaching for it. And it was a sort of slog sweep, but it was more controlled than that. Goes along the ground, out towards the boundary, towards the skyscrapers of Birmingham in the distance. 57 for 4, Jones to 21.
This is more like it, isn't it? Easy, free shot for Amy Jones. No mid-wicket inside the ring. They're opting to have 2 points on the offside, which for me, I don't think they need. I don't think there's enough pace in the wicket or on the ball for 2 points in there. I'd like to see them try and plug that gap in at mid-wicket and stop that. And they're not listening to me, though.
Well, they're not. And for me, they should be. Because you always, dare I say it, seems to get caught there.
Oh, dear.
So, 57 for 4. Jones waits on 21. And again targets the leg side, this time squarer, but again 4 runs. That's another good shot, though the mid-wicket wasn't so far from it. Sadaf Shamaz immediately turned, knowing it was just a recovery job. And little punch of the gloves between Jones and Knight. England 61 for 4. Well, I wondered if people were going to be out and about in the garden. Melissa Cole's been in touch. She's got lots of potting of tomatoes to do and cucumbers this afternoon. Looking forward to hearing an England win. Melissa, lovely to have you join us. And Melissa, she's got the best job title I've ever heard.
Go on.
International beer judge.
Wow.
What a thing. Shameen bowls to Jones, who this time is a little more circumspect in picking up a single down the ground to long on. She moves to 26, England 62 for 4. There you go.
Now, how does one apply to be an international beer judge? Let us know, please.
A beer author.
Wow,
what a thing that is. 62 for 4. Knight on strike. Field up inside the circle on the offside. That's the side she targets with a reverse sweep, but it goes a little too close to Fatima Sada, who picks up, and there is no run.
I didn't think it would be long before we saw that from Heather Knight. A really good shot of hers that she uses to manipulate the field.
2 balls left till the halfway point in the innings. England with a good partnership here, worth 51. Knight nudges down the ground. That's well played. They'll look for 2, and Knight will turn for that second. It's Amy Jones that puts up a hand and says no thank you, because 1 run out this innings is more than enough. And Heather Knight, I love watching run a single, because you know some people make running look effortless.
Yes.
In the nicest possible way. She's not the quickest, and she by her own admission, but there's a lot of energy going to those legs and arms pumping, and Jones defends up the track to get that bat down quickly, but there's a lot of energy being put into it, and you think, well, that'll be an easy 2, and it somehow seems to take a little longer. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm not being very fair, but
no, she's an incredibly hard-working, fit individual, but just not blessed with the speed or those fast twitch fibres. She you know, she is a good judge of a run.
Yeah.
So she'll always say no. She knows her limits.
It's like the old Teddy Sheringham extra yard in the head.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Right, I'm getting out of the way, Georgia, and Emily Windsor, Southern Vipers star, is standing by to take over with drinks being taken on the field. England 63 for 4, and Emily seems recovering a little bit for this England side.
Yeah, they certainly are. That was a much easier passage of play to watch if you're an England supporter, that's for sure. And we talked about that experience, didn't we, of Amy Jones and Heather Knight, and for me they've given themselves a chance to adapt to the pitch, adapt to the bowlers that are ahead of them, and now are starting to pay for that, aren't they? They're finding boundaries at regular intervals, and all of a sudden England are scoring at a decent run rate of 6 and over.
Yeah, they were able to soak up a little bit of pressure. I think being 4 down, they were forced into playing a little bit less aggressively, just milking the 1s and 2s when they were on offer, and then being able to punish the bad ball. And actually what they've been able to do in the last couple of overs is really toy with the Pakistan bowlers and fielders, using the sweep shot to good effect. I think Pakistan have come with a plan to bowl wide outside the off stump really slowly with their spinners, and England have been able to counteract that by hitting over the offside or being able to sweep. And I think having those sorts of skills in your armoury, that's made it more difficult. It's put pressure back onto Pakistan, and actually at the halfway point, this is probably as good as England could have expected from the position that they were in.
Yeah, and a reminder, if you want to watch the pictures, they're live on BBC Two now. You also can go on the BBC Sport website and app to see the 4 wickets fall, but also some fantastic boundaries now from Heather Knight and Amy Jones. Also at the interval, we're going to be hearing from Jimmy Anderson. Anderson set to retire after the Lord's Test against West Indies. Big shock, Georgia?
It was to me. I was expecting him to go on forever and ever, but all good things come to an end, as they say, and sad, really, I think, is my overarching feeling. I think, he's been such an amazing player for such a long period of time. He just felt like he was going to carry on forever, but he's decided the time is now, and it's good for him that he gets to have a farewell test this summer, and no better place to do it than at Lord's.
Yeah, and does he deserve that, as we're joined by Atif Nuazu? You must be buzzing with the start.
Yeah, cool. It's Edgbaston, right? How can you not be budging? Budging? Budging with the start. No, it's wonderful. 15,000 people here. First day of the international summer. Awesome.
There's Hassan in bowls, and that's cut by Amy Jones to back with a point. Great diving stop to keep it to a dot ball.
And they've been very impressive so far, Pakistan. I don't think anybody really saw that coming, particularly in the power play. And Wahid Akhtar coming into the side and making an immediate impact. So impressive.
Tuba Hassan in, floated up, and that's driven, but straight to extra cover this time. Will be no run.
Now, this phase of the game will be very interesting to see if they can keep that going. We saw that little counter-attack from England before they stopped for a drink with Heather and Amy Jones. So, can they nip that in the bud? This is the challenge.
Hassan again, leg rake to backward a point. They come through for a quick single. She didn't go straight away. There was a fumble by the keeper, and lucky that wasn't a direct hit. But that was a bit of pressure, wasn't it, that's built by Pakistan. Heather's then just hit and run. We could have seen that second run out of the innings.
Yeah, the back of it. She doesn't really seem too phased by these things, Heather Knight. She's one of the most even keel people I've ever met. Never gets too stressed out one way or the other. But at the same time, it does play on your mind because it was a big wicket, and 11 for 4 is something it's sort of a minor catastrophe, isn't it?
64 for 4 now. That's a loopy full toss hit down the ground. There's a fielder at long off, couple of bounces. Will be a single to Amy Jones. She moves to 27, 65 for 4 England. First T20. Are you excited for this series as a whole, Atif?
Absolutely. It's a big year, obviously, with the World Cup on the horizon.
Hassan in again, bowls, and that's driven extra cover on the ring. Does the fielding again. Another dot ball for Heather Knight. Signs of frustration.
They'll be really motivated here, this Pakistan team. They came here for the Commonwealth Games in 2022 and lost all 3 of their matches. So they'll be very keen to just get a win in Birmingham. They love it in Birmingham. They want to win a game here.
Hassan again worked into the onside by Knight. Will be a single out to deep mid-wicket. She'll move to 23.
Are you guys excited? Yeah.
It's the international summer, isn't it? That's the end of the over. 11 overs gone, 66 for 4. Great rebuild for England. Was it brave bowling the seamer, all 4 up front, do you think? She bowled superbly well, Akhtar.
Which is quite unusual for Pakistan to let any seamer bowl sort of all their 4 overs, really, because you get used to watching sort of 16, 17 overs of an innings be bowled by slower bowlers from the Pakistanis. Those are the conditions at home in which they usually thrive. Not recently, obviously, losing that series to the West Indies 4-1 recently, but they're usually quite good in those conditions. So I think they've made a genuine attempt to adjust to play the conditions here. They had that warm-up game a couple of days ago against the Ace team, and they've learned a little bit about what to expect here, what's different here. Let's experiment. Let's try and do a horses for courses thing in Birmingham.
Nida Dart, the Pakistan captain, in to bowl, and that's an appeal for LBW. It's here on the pad and it's given. A very delayed response from Kim Cotton, the umpire. Heather Knight reviews it and sends it upstairs. What do we think to that, Georgia Elwes?
Well, Nida Dart likes it. She's giving it her customary Lady Boom Boom celebration, both hands in the air. Heather Knight, she's one of those that, like Atif said, never gets too high, too low, and can't really tell from her face. Gone for that reverse sweep, slow ball. You've just seen the replay now. If it's in line, she's gone for me. I think could just have hit her outside the line. That might just save her. But again, umpire's call. It's going to be a close one.
We hear the voice of the 4th umpire, Hannah Harris. That went for, I was going to call it Anna Turner then. I was like, who's Turner?
It doesn't appear to be any bat on it on Ultra Edge, so it's really going to be about impact, really.
It's tight, that's for sure. We're just watching the rock and roll.
Back leg, isn't it?
It's a big moment in this game as well. Captain to captain, Nida Dart to Heather Knight. You always sort of want to get one over the opposition captain as well. It's always a nice feeling.
You were talking about how important this next passage of play. England, you felt before the drinks break, just started to pull momentum back in their favour. But this will be massive.
Yeah, if they can nip another wicket out here, Pakistan, that could be the difference between sort of 140 and 120. And if they could keep England to close to 120, they will be over the moon. Although again, history tells us that even if England are skittled for sort of like between a 100 and 120 number, they'll probably still have a good chance of winning the game.
Impact outside the line. There we go, Heather Knight. Rightly, the England captain sends it upstairs to review. And not out is signalled by Kim Cotton. And this Edgbaston crowd likes that decision.
Yeah, a lot of fans in the house today. Loads of flags, 15,000 people. This is the support this team has built over the years. Like, obviously, there's marketing and coverage and things, but there's also just the style of play that's been so attractive. The kind of cricket they've played that has just drawn in this huge fan base, and they're enjoying it right now, enjoying this action.
66 for 4 then. It's the Pakistan captain Dar bowls tonight, and she's just hit that hard along the floor to long on. Will pick up a single. That's a bit more sensible batting from Heather Knight. She moves to 24, and the score 67 for 4. Field spread. Long off, long on, deep mid wicket and deep square leg. As we see her bowl from the Birmingham end. That's slow outside the off stump, reverse sweep by Amy Jones. She hasn't got a lot on it, so the fielder's going to chase after it. They're coming back for the second, and a better throw, and again Amy Jones could have been in trouble, but she makes it quite comfortably in the end. Score moves to 69 for 4. Amy Jones to 29 of 22 deliveries. She's played beautifully here. Saw her score some valuable runs in New Zealand. She seems in good form at the moment, Amy Jones.
Yeah, confident in her game, and somebody else who uses the reverse sweep really well, and it's annoying for a captain when a batter's got a reverse sweep, being able to manipulate the field.
She's in again, gone for the reverse sweep, but this time finds backward point. Good tactics from Pakistan, isn't it? They've left that open and gone, go on, take the high risk option. And there you go, they're going to change it now towards the back end of the over. So 2 balls left, mid wicket comes out. They're going to have 2 points in play. That leaves a lot of space on that onside, doesn't it? Now for Amy Jones, all the fielders are out other than the short fine leg. There's Dar bowls again. That's on the leg side. Swept nicely by Amy Jones. That's gone backward a square. And that's 4 more runs to her total on her 100th T20 cap. She's playing really nicely here. She's on to 33, 73 for 4.
Yeah, and I think it was always going to be the shot that Amy Jones goes to, with that huge gap on the leg side, and Nida Dar perhaps probably gave her a little bit too much pace, and it was the wrong line of the delivery, and it was an easy shot for Amy Jones. Such a good sweeper, conventional and reverse. So a little bit of pressure now back onto Nida Dar.
Bowls from the Birmingham end in, and that's swept into the gap this time. They moved the fielder squarer at mid wicket, and she's gone, okay, I'll hit that pocket. 4 more to Amy Jones. Great finish to the end of that Nida Dar over. 77 for 4 England, and Jones on to 37.
Yeah, smart from Jones, really smart. She knows the line that Nida Dar is trying to bowl, and even that when she took a little bit of pace off it on that last delivery, Amy Jones held the shape, waited and picked the gap. Massive leg side boundary, but that means there's huge gaps out there, and she made good contact, and that sweep shot today has proved really fruitful for her, and I think it's a really good way for the England batters to counteract this Pakistan spin. We know, talked a lot about how they're going to play spin this year, with the big World Cup coming up in Bangladesh, where you think it's going to play a really big part, and so far the options that Amy Jones and Heather Knight have shown as they've come to the crease have worked well.
Crowd getting right behind England now. Just a reminder to the listeners that have just joined us, England were 11 for 4 in the 3rd over. So 66 run partnership.
Quick maths, love it.
It's good numbers, wasn't it? 11 to 77.
If you say so, I was getting my calculator out. I really was.
Iqbal, the left arm spinner, bowls, and that's pushed into the offside. Will be no run. She's bowled 2 overs for 10 and picked up the wicket, a big wicket of Danny Wyatt, who did play in that development 11 game and scored an important 50 in that. So it's a big wicket for Pakistan.
Yeah, I mean, all of them were really. I mean, we look at Maya Bouchier, all of those players, so valuable wickets.
Left arm round the wicket advances and plays up to mid-on for a single. Heather Knight, she'll move to 25.
It's just been really sort of astute play. You can really see the experience from both these players in this partnership. They've just not got too worried about it. 11 for 4 can feel, like really catastrophic for most teams, but they've just, played through that difficult phase, waited for their opportunities, and that previous over often in the dart, those consecutive boundaries, and it tells you about just the class of the player, the confidence of the player. Really outstanding stuff.
Iqbal to Jones, that's worked to 45 on the leg side, will be no run. Just darting it in there. No, not much turn, but she just pushes it in on that angle into the pads of Amy Jones.
It's always quite miserly, Sadia Iqbal, in terms of giving away runs. It always comes away with decent economy, even in difficult circumstances. Just knows what to bowl at what time.
In again, slightly tall, and that's played onto the onside. A cry of catch it, fielder under it, takes the catch. Amy Jones has played beautifully for her 37, 66-run partnership. Broken.
Yeah, we said it. She knows what to bowl at the right time. That in that time called for a low full toss, apparently. It's just as unfortunate for Amy Jones. She's looking really, really good, enjoying herself on her home ground in the 100 at least. And, she was looking good for a lot more runs there. That's a really good time for Pakistan to break that partnership. We talked about sort of the projected scores and how much they're going to shift now with that wicket falling, with Heather maybe adjusting the way that she plays her game. But she will get a warm round of applause as she walks off the pitch, will Amy Jones. That was a really entertaining knock as well. Some lovely shots in there as well, Georgia.
Yeah, and I think she'll be disappointed ultimately that she's tried to put her foot on the accelerator, got a low full toss as she would have wanted, and just put it straight down the deep square leg's throat. And disappointing finish to what was a really good innings from her. I think she showed the right balance between aggression and soaking up pressure, was able to rotate the score and batted really nicely with Heather Knight. And just as she's gone to put her foot on the accelerator in England trying to capitalise on this partnership, she's fallen. So disappointing for England, but a really crucial wicket for Pakistan.
Well, full tosses, they're actually a good ball. They bring wickets.
Well, maybe when you guys bowl them. When I bowl them, I get smashed for 6, so I don't know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
Iqbal, they picked up 2 wickets so far. Left arm round the wicket to the new batter, Danny Gibson, who's played that beautifully, splitting backward a point and short third. And she starts her innings with a lovely boundary. 4 runs to Danny Gibson and the score 82 for 5.
What a shot to play first ball. You come out, again, like you've got a really good bowler in front of you, Sadia Iqbal, world number 3 in the ICC rankings. No respect whatsoever. I see it. I'm going to guide it away for 4. I see your gaps, Pakistan. I'm going to pierce them.
Iqbal to Danny Gibson again, and she got the same result. I think she might. She's this time off the back foot. Fielders are chasing after it. Don't worry about that. Save your legs. 4 more runs to Danny Gibson. Immediate impact from her. She is one that Heather Knight will be looking to take an opportunity. 13 overs gone. 86 for 5, England.
Yeah, somebody that Heather Knight knows really well, play together Western Storm and London Spirit, and somebody that we've come up against recently in the last couple of weeks, somebody who hits the ball really hard and is a finisher of an innings, and I think that's something that England are looking for as well. In the likes of Freya Kemp, Danny Gibson, Charlie Dean, people who can finish off innings, take momentum through and finish off games as well. And I think Danny Gibson, she's just had 2 perfect deliveries there, wide outside the off stump, been able to get her hands through it and settle any nerves that she would have had walking to the crease today.
Latif Nawaz has left us into some other duties on telly, live on BBC Two. As Nada Dar bowls, and that's reverse swept by Heather Knight, backward a point, chasing after it. She hasn't gone to ground, so they should come back for a couple. They do, and Heather Knight will move to 27 and the score 88 for 5. I have one moment of watching Danny Gibson play that I can remember so clearly. It was a Lord's game. They needed 4 to win. First ball she came in, reverse swept it, 4, game over.
Against Australia, wasn't it? Crazy confidence.
I wish I had that confidence at times, Georgia. Maybe I'll try that. As Tarim bowls slow down the leg side, that's swept behind square, and that's 4 runs to Heather Knight. That was a gift by the Pakistan captain. She moves to 31 off 34, 92 for 5, England.
Yeah, it was a gift, and she's been a little bit sloppy Nida Dar. She's come into the attack. Could have had a wicket with her first ball, overturned, but served up a big full toss. Heather Knight's not going to miss out there. Again, the sweep shot playing to England's hands against this Pakistan spin attack.
By far the most expensive of the Pakistan bowlers so far. As Darin again bowls outside the off stump, that's chipped into the air, top edge from Heather Knight, and she'll come through for a single. Danny Gibson on 8 off just 2 deliveries will face a slow off spin with Nida Dar. Is that one of those captain's privileges, do you reckon? Didn't bowl that well in the first, but come on, it's my time for a wicket. I want another one.
Well, she's a fantastic player, isn't she? But she's calling the shots.
And she's in again, bowls, advances and plays up to long off. They're going to run the first one hard. I think they should settle for 1. Yes, they do. Heather Knight turns quickly, but makes the right call. Gibson on to 9, 94 for 5 England. Just 6.2 overs remain, being 11 for 4. This has been a very good comeback. Dart in again. Heather Knight reverse sweep. She's hit that hard and wrong-footed the backward a point. She does well to get a hand on it, so she'll keep it to a couple. Heather Knight got hold of that one, and the score moves to 96 for 5. What have we got? 37 balls left. 5 wickets down. England bat deep. Still got Charlie Dean, Sophie Eccleston, Sarah Glenn to come. It's Dart in bowls, and that's on the leg side. That's swept behind, backward a square. The fielder at deep square is running round and does well to get there, so they come back for a couple. Good manipulation of the field by the England captain Heather Knight. She's to 36, 98 for 5. What are we thinking? What score are we thinking?
Well, I think this is a real crucial period of play over the next couple of overs. If England can get through it without losing a wicket, maintain their scoring rate and their aggression, 140 is definitely on. I think that's only just over a run a ball from here on in, so that I think they'll be targeting that. But I think if Pakistan can pick up a couple of wickets, and then they'll be looking to restrict them to 120 and really feeling the game at that halfway point. I think it's been a game that was hugely started off in Pakistan's favour. England have wrestled back that momentum, and now it's a really crucial phase for these last 6 overs.
And a reminder, at that interval we will be hearing the interview of Jimmy Anderson, who's said he's going to have his farewell at Lord's this summer against the West Indies. It's a massive shame, but at least he gets that farewell, and excited to see what he has to say about it, because I imagine, well, it's come to us as a bit of a shock. See if it's come as much of a shock as it has to him. But change of bowling, we're going to see some seam back into the Pakistan attack. Masana will be bowling from the pavilion end into Danny Gibson, right arm over, and that's played up to long on for a single. She moves to 10, 99 for 5 England. Going into this World Cup and looking at squads, Georgia, do you see the battle of that number 7 role being quite key? Obviously Freya Kemp, who's not bowling at the moment, but we're expecting to see back bowling towards it. Do you feel like it's head to head with Danny Gibson and Freya Kemp? Any other names potentially in the mix for that in your eyes?
I suppose it depends on the balance of the side, doesn't it? I think looking at Bangladesh, well, they would want to be playing 3 spinners in the lineup.
Sana in, that's played beautifully over the offside by Heather Knight. 2 bounces, 4 runs, and that came off the middle of her bat, and that's the 100 up for England, and the crowd enjoy that one. 103 for 5, Heather Knight to 40.
Yeah, it's been beautiful batting from Heather Knight, and that shot probably the best of the lot. Over pitched delivery, and manages to get her hands through it and lift it over the offside, and she looks so comfortable, so at ease out there. Any situation, it's takes it upon her shoulders to take that responsibility, and she stays there. It goes without saying England will get to that 140 mark.
She's now at the top of the mark. Masana, she bowls, and that's worked into the onside, this time by Knight. It's hit the middle of her bat again, but the fielder at mid-wicket's quick to it and keeps it to a single. Knight to 41. 5.3 overs remain. 104 for 5. Obviously Natsiva Brunt to come back into the side. She brings that all-round seam option as well. But that number 7 slot for me is, I suppose you could play that extra seamer, but both Danny Gibson and Freya Kemp had the depth to their lineup. Sana in again, bowls, and that's played up to mid-off this time for a single. And Danny Gibson onto 11. If you had to pick your team now, who's going to be in it?
For what?
First game of the T20 World Cup in Bangladesh.
We're a long way out. So I'm going to sit on the fence.
We're going to see if it changes throughout the summer, Georgia, because we're going to be hearing a lot from Georgia Ellis, World Cup winner.
Well, look, I think I would play 3 spinners. I'd look to, that's for sure. I think spin's going to play a huge part over there, and just how much workload they want to put on Natsiva Brunt with her bowling as well as her batting.
Sana in outside the off stump, called a wide by umpire Sue Redfern.
I like the idea of having a left-hander in that lineup, so Freya Kemp's definitely got to be in the conversations for me to be in that starting 11. I suppose it's how much they're going to bowl Alice Capsey, whether they see her as a genuine spin option, and Heather Knight as well herself can bowl spin. So there's lots of different combinations. I think whoever's in form at the time plays.
Sana right arm over, that's cut. There's a fielder at short third, he dives on it, so keeps it to a single. Heather Knight to move to 42, 107 for 5.
Unfortunately, those decisions are made by people paid a lot more money than I am, so I don't have to do that.
Georgia Elwis, the selector, that has a nice ring to it.
No, absolutely not.
Fielders out on the boundary. 3 out on the leg side and a deep cover to Danny Gibson. Sana in bowls. That is down the leg side, and she's absolutely middled that behind. Backward of square. 4 more to Danny Gibson. 111 for 5, and Gibson on 15, but off just the 6 balls.
Well, she's come in and played the situation beautifully, hasn't she? She's been aggressive from the get-go. She's been offered width and been able to punish it, and there delivery wasn't even that short, but she's just picked up the length so quickly and swatted it away. She times the ball as well. She hits the balls really hard, and she's come in and taken all of the pressure off Heather Knight and being able to accelerate this run rate.
So 15 overs gone, 111 for 5. To see you home in this innings will be Henry Moran.
Thank you very much, Emily. England were 11 for 4 prior to the end of the 3rd over, but they've recovered well since then. Amy Jones made 37 from 27, and Heather Knight has been the stable force in the middle there, 42 from 40. She was given out LBW on 23, but reviewed it successfully. And my goodness me, hello.
Reunited.
How lovely to see you, Alex.
How are you?
I'm all right. Alex Hartley, World Cup winner in 2017. You've been out and about.
I have. I've been, I've just been doing what I want, really. It's been great.
How is it out there?
Good. The atmosphere is honestly amazing.
Is it? Here comes Tuba Hassan, and Knight will cut the ball away. That could be 4 runs. It goes square quickly. Fielder running round does brilliantly. That's a really good stop out there in the deep. And it's one area of Pakistan's game that has improved immeasurably. Sidra Amin out there on the boundary, 113 for 5.
Well, they've improved so much since they were last here in 2016. Obviously, here during the Commonwealth Games, but the last time England played them in a bilateral was 2016, which is such a long time ago now.
Yeah.
Feels like yesterday.
It's when you made your debut that year, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. It feels like yesterday, but actually, the world has changed since then.
Well, it has. And there are a lot of the same players. I mean, look, we've seen it with England, Australia before, but professionalism does mean that you see elements of the game that can be worked on day in, day out. And fielding is, in some ways, the most obvious, actually. You just notice these things just picking up so quickly.
Yeah, and I love the fact that Pakistan got off to a great start in the power play, taking 4 early wickets and put England under pressure.
Yeah.
Probably a situation they weren't expecting to be in as well.
So 113 for 5. They're still checking this boundary just in case Sidra Amin has managed to connect with the rope at the same time that she was hauling that ball in. I don't think she did, but she may have done. So they'll have a little look at it just to check. What's your instinct?
Well, I thought she did a brilliant piece of work, to be completely honest, but It's always one of those, the more you slow it down, the more you think it might be 4. Has it flicked her arm on the boundary as she's flicked it back in? Her arm that's on the ground, it might have touched that arm, but I think she's been absolutely fine.
Yeah, all good, says Kim Cotton, the umpire from New Zealand. By the way, we'll be hearing from Jimmy Addison during the interval. He's announced that test at Lords against West Indies will be his last. Here comes Knight advancing forward, and there is a fumble at cover, and immediately putting her hand in the air is the captain, Nida Dar, to say, sorry, I should be setting the standards. And a single is taken. 114 for 5. So
always happens after a brilliant bit of fielding somewhere else, someone else does something sloppy.
Well, I know. And you're thinking out there on the boundary, well, I've just, I've
just saved the run and you've given one gone away.
114 for 5. Gibson, 15 from 6, has shown really good impetus from the very first ball she faced that was sliced away through backward point for a boundary. Gibson comes forward and tries to give it the big heave-ho somewhere towards downtown Birmingham, but gets just a single towards mid-wicket. It's 115 for 5.
I've just had a thought.
Go on, it's always a worry.
I had sunglasses on my head and I might have left them in the crowd somewhere.
Oh, are they expensive ones?
No.
Knight coming forward and has to wait for a ball with the pace taken off it, but eventually clears mid-on, the ball dribbling towards the boundary and just about makes it. And there, with 4 runs, Heather Knight moves to 49. England 119 for 5. And she had to wait an age before eventually cross-batting it over that fielder.
That's a great shot from the captain. As you say, she's had to wait an age for it. She wanted to go down the ground. She realised she wasn't quite there, waits and then slaps it over mid-on for 4. That's the captain. That's showing how she's adapted her game over the last few years as well.
119 for 5. I think that door shut. In comes Tuba Hassan. This has been hit aerially and could be a chance of a catch. Fielder waiting, surely will take it, and yet the England captain is out for 49. Just moving to her left to fielder at mid-on with an easy catch. And England have lost a 6th wicket. 119 for 6, and the cusp of a half century sees Knight depart. Gulfer Rosa with the catch, and a wicket for Tuba Hassan to see England 6 down.
Well, now she can blow her own trumpet. She's got the England captain out before she went and got 50. It's a good innings from Heather Knight. Steadied the ship, looking to accelerate at the back end of the innings, but a decent catch taken, and Tuba Hassan gets the captain out. And England, looking to accelerate, do find themselves in a spot of bother, and they'll be thinking we are under par here.
Yeah, well, they'll have thought 150 was a bare minimum. Have you got to leave us?
I know, I'm so sorry. I thought I'd give Elvis a little bit of a break, but the powers beyond have said you've got to be pitch side in 12 minutes.
OK, well, you've got to get there. You've got to find your sunglasses as well, Alex.
Oh, they've gone, I reckon.
No. Have a little look. Thank you, Alex Hartley. Part of our BBC television coverage today. Live right now on BBC Two. And Sophie Eccleston comes to the middle. She always walks out dragging her bat, rather like a reluctant Dachshund that doesn't really fancy a walk in the rain. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I know exactly what you mean, actually.
Go on, talk to me. What was it? Flo?
Little Flo, yeah. This is a fair weather dog.
Well, they are Dachshunds, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's why I like them. I feel sort of a kindred spirit with them. They like a snooze, and they don't really like going out when it's raining.
Well, it suits me fine. I don't like going out in the rain either.
119 for 6. Eccleston has dragged that bat to the middle and waits, right-handed. First ball's a full toss, chipped over mid-on, and it's going to head towards the boundary and for 4. She's not got all of it, but she does get a boundary, and the crowd like that. It's good intent from England's number 8. It's 123 for 6. 4 overs left.
Well, perfect delivery to get first up, wasn't it? Able to swat it away and open her account. These two will have a good laugh batting out there, both funny characters, good strikers of balls as well, and got 4 overs. Unfortunate to see the dismissal of Heather Knight if you're an England fan, but she played a brilliant innings, and England now, you feel, definitely going to be targeting that 150 and maybe even a little bit beyond that.
Yeah, well, Sophie Eccleston, of course, primarily a bowler, number 1 ranked bowler in T20 and ODI cricket in the world game, but she can certainly give it a wallop. Hit her first ball in Test cricket for 6 at the North Sydney Oval, but famously it was only given us 4.
Shocking.
Wasn't it? Right, here comes new over, bowled by Khan. Down below us, and Gibson, who looks A very tidy player indeed. Clips it to mid-wicket. Eccleston wants the second run. A good decision from Gibson to say that ain't happening. And indeed, that second run is turned down. 124 for 6. So England's run rate is reasonably healthy, 7.7 or so. Sana down below us turns and untucks her shirt and begins to approach, but Sue Redfern has seen that Sophie Eccleston's not ready, and a couple of pigeons fly by as eventually things are all set. Eccleston's waiting with bat raised in a rather threatening manner, and she does drive firmly through the offside. There's a chase on for the fielder, moving to her left. Wahida Akhtar it is, who comes round from mid-off to get the ball maybe 10 yards or so from the boundary, but England get 2. Eccleston 6 from 2. I love watching Sophie Eccleston bat. There's a simplicity of thought.
Whack it.
Yeah, and I like that. She's not a sort of player that you'd want to bat out a day in a test match. But I think she could. I think she's technically able.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's whether she's got the patience.
Oh, that's the thing, isn't it? Field up inside the circle on the offside. As Eccleston waiting will defend. That was a very solid defensive shot from Sophie Eccleston, who walks towards Kim Cotton and in a sort of lackadaisical manner, as if, well, having to defend is terribly boring. Whereas I know certain people, not necessarily too far from me, don't mind defending. Don't look the other way, Georgia Ellis. Well, I think it
was a famous day, wasn't it?
It was a famous day. Here comes Fatima Sana into bowl to Sophie Eccleston, who gets another full delivery, which is well fielded on the bounce. It looked for a moment like it was a caught and bowled, but a very good piece of fielding from the bowler. That day we're mentioning was North Sydney Oval 2017, where you and Heather Knight had no choice but to block out the day to save the match.
I was boring myself, to be honest with you.
And you did it so well, the two of you. And I could sense you were just desperate to do something other than block it.
Yeah, even the half volleys we were blocking, which wasn't much fun, but it's what needed to be done for the team.
Yeah, you do what you got to do. Eccleston is on 6 from 4. Fatima Sana bowls. That's hit crisply out through the offside. The fielder running round is giving it all she can, but she won't stop it. The ball with a little bit of fade on it drifts away to the boundary, and Sophie Eccleston gets 4 more. 130 for 6. 3.1 overs remaining in the innings. Picture on our TV monitor here. Loads of people wearing sunglasses, and I'm just wondering which pair are Alex's who's left of the crowd. Oh dear. It's the sort of one where everyone in your team shouting spin when it's hit, isn't it? You know it's going to just nibble away from you. Right then, Eccleston's on 10. Final ball of the 17th over. England 130 for 6. Fatima Sana bowls, full toss, just dug out by Eccleston, who wants to strike. Nida Dar will field down below us, with England 1-3-1 for 6. If you missed the opening stages of this game, well, you can watch, possibly through your fingers, the opening overs, where England found themselves after 3 at 11 for 4, with Capsey, Wyatt and Bouchier all caught going through a shot too early and Freya Kemp run out. But since then they saw good partnership between Amy Jones and England's captain Heather Knight. Jones made 37, Knight 49, and England have got Gibson and Eccleston giving them some late order impetus. And 131 for 6. If they can get 150, I think they'll feel pretty confident.
Yeah, I think it's been a really good rebuild from England, from their 2 most experienced players in that middle order, and they've both been in those sorts of situations and probably showed the top order how to play in that vein. And I think that England's top 3 will be mightily disappointed. Freya Kemp as well, and it just shows, I think, if they got off to a better start, and here could be looking at scores of 61, 70, and that's sort of their benchmark now for T20 cricket.
So Shamim is going to bowl from the far end of the ground. It's a quicker delivery, which Eccleston's onto, but a fielder running in might take the catch. Oh, put down. Out there in the deep, Golfer Rosa, part of a fielding unit that has been pretty much immaculate with catching opportunities today. Well, that one's put down, running in from long on, and Eccleston gets a life on 11. England 132 for 6.
Yeah, she won't want to see that again. Regulation chance in and out. I didn't think she was going to make up the ground, but she got there, did all the hard work.
Shamim bowls to Gibson, sweeping hard for 4. That's a lovely shot. And she's a confident player on the sweepers, Danny Gibson. We saw that in the Ashes last year. There's a little punch of the gloves between she and Eccleston as England moved to 136 for 6.
It's poor bowling, really, for me. I know she's had a catch drop the previous ball. She'd be disappointed with that, but to fire one down the leg side, there's no protection down there. And England, we've seen use that sweep shot really well today. Danny Gibson again.
So Gibson on 21 from just 9 balls. Has to wait for a slow delivery, chopped towards backward point where Fatima Sana will field. The Hollies stand behind her. Come on, England is the cry. Alex has got a very deep voice when she shouts. This is helped to get into the leg side. And one more will be taken from the bat of Gibson. 137 for 6. So Eccleston's on 12 from 7. These two are both going at a strike rate well in excess of 100. Exactly 200 in the case of Gibson. It's exactly what England needed. Shamim bowls. Eccleston helping the ball in the air. Drops a yard or so short of backward square leg. It was not exactly as fine as she wanted it, but she does get a single. And it's 138 for 6.
That's a big boundary out there, isn't it? England have run well, hit the pockets, picked up boundaries out there, and it's been a brilliant little cameo here from Danny Gibson.
Driven through the offside. That's a good shot. She manages to find a gap of no more than 4 or 5 yards. And Nida Dar will be frustrated that she has done so as she chases the ball to the ropes. Flames go up. And Gibson's very useful cameo goes on. She's on to 26. And with 2 overs left, England 142 for 6. By the way, Hypercourse gets in touch. Always worth a follow. All the stats you could ever need. And particularly around the women's game, says that Heather Knight's highest T20 score on home soil, that 49.
Wow, that surprises me.
That's a good stat, that.
That's a great stat. And her team definitely needed it today, didn't they? It's laid a platform for Danny Gibson to come and play a gem of an innings. She's been able to read what the Pakistan bowlers are trying to do. She's swept well on line. She hit the ball hard into the gap, and she's been able to manipulate the field to good effect.
Well, she has, and Pakistan are well behind time as well. We should be entering the final over now. Or actually, we should be concluding the innings. They are 9 minutes late. And so, that is exactly what Sue Redfern is saying. I'm afraid, Nida Dar, you've not got 3 your overs, you're going to have to bring a fielder in, so it will only be 3 allowed outside the circle, which could be quite significant because Eccleston will be thinking, well, now that fielder's come up from the square leg boundary, anything on leg stump is going to be swept away, and there's no protection out there in the deep. So here comes Fatima Sana, who won't be too grateful for the lack of protection out there, as Eccleston waiting, does target the leg side, but it's straighter than that, and Nida Dar, the captain, will field on the boundary. I think Pakistan need to be wary of Danny Gibson's sweeping prowess here.
Yeah, it's poor really from Pakistan, something that they could control, the tempo at which they go about their field innings. Bowl a lot of spin, so not really, can't say there's any excuse for it. And they could really pay for it in these last couple of overs.
5 wides, it's not excessive. Doesn't add too much time. Gibson gets a ball outside the off stump. That's well bowled. It's a wide Yorker. Nothing she can do with it. It's probably as quick as anything we've seen today, which is no great shakes. It's been pretty pace off the majority of the day, and that's what undid England at the top of the order. And they were 11 for 4. Fatima Sana then, with a little hop and a skip in the green of Pakistan, will run in right arm over past umpire Sue Redfern, and there's the sweep, there's the 4. It's hit very firmly indeed. Danielle Gibson with a really hefty heave into the leg side behind square. She moved to 30 from just 14 balls. Now with 9 balls left of the innings, England are on the cusp of 150, 147 for 6.
Yeah, it's a brilliant shot, a really, really good option. a high risk, but definitely high reward. Somebody who plays a sweep shot as well as Danny Gibson. Just misses a length slightly, which allows Gibson to get underneath it. And with only 3 fielders allowed out, that square leg had to come up inside the ring, the area that Gibson's targeted, and she's done it beautifully.
So here comes Matamasana again. Gibson's on 30 and waits for a very slow ball, tries to work it through the offside, can't do so, it drops towards gully. 2 balls left of the 19th. Reminder, we'll be hearing from Jimmy Anderson during the break. He's been part of a special tail enders episode announcing news we knew would come one day, but perhaps not quite as quickly as this. He'll be retiring. Next test match that England will play in the men's game at Lord's in July will be his last. His 188th. Sana bowling to Gibson. Again, pace taken right off it and hacked down the ground towards Nida Dar for a single. 148 for 6. It feels the last few years across the men's and women's game. Anya Shrubsole, Stuart Broad, Catherine Silver-Brunt, now Jimmy Anderson. It feels like a real sort of changing of the guard, doesn't it? It does.
I'm sad. I think it took me by surprise when I heard the news this morning. The sort of thing that you think, you say it's going to come one day, but you just don't expect it. And very sad. I'm sure he'll be going through a mix of emotions now as well.
Final ball of the 19th over with Eccleston on strike, and she's going to get 4. Once more, it's that boundary on the leg side that should have protection exactly where Eccleston's hit it. But because that fielder has to be up inside the circle, there are runs to be had. Eccleston moves to 18 with a smile on her face, and England 152 for 6. Super Mario's waving a 4 sign in the crowd. And England past 150 with an over left.
I think it's just a little bit too predictable. They're going for the Yorkers. I mean, the slower ball was the change-up and brought about the dot ball, and with the field that she had set, I think the slower ball probably would have been the better option. She's gone for the Yorker. Eccleston's gone deep in her crease, and she's picked up, whipped it away to that short leg side boundary, and England really going into this last over with a lot of momentum. 156 already. All feels like it's probably too many runs for Pakistan to get, and they've still got another over to add to that total.
Yeah, they'll be in everything must go territory here, England.
Still got the likes of Charlie Dean, Sarah Glenn, who can Sarah Glenn can certainly hit a long ball. So that's what we've talked about, the depth that England have in their batting lineup. There have been 11 for 4, and probably the headlines that will come out of it is how they've managed to get themselves up to a pretty decent total.
Well, they've only passed 150 in a second innings, Pakistan, on 2 occasions. So both of those have been in the last 12 months, so it is a changing world, of course. But it is worth bearing in mind that they would be likely reaching ground they've never done before if they were to chase this down. And right across the stumps is Gibson, hitting the ball into the leg side, into space. It'll hop and skip towards the boundary. Has she found 4? She has. How? The fielders weren't far from it, but she's got, dare I say it, a little fortunate in finding the gap quite as well as she did, because the ball was not meant to go there, and it finds the gap to move England to 156 for 6.
No, she's not hit it particularly cleanly either, I don't think, but the power and the strength that she has found the gap perfectly.
She's on 35, comes down the track, drives into the offside. They'll run for the single, need a dive. She collected cleanly, would have had time to throw at the stumps at the non-striker's end. She doesn't, and Eccleston will be on strike with 4 balls left of the innings. 157 for 6. A reminder, this game's live on BBC Two right now. You can watch again at your leisure on the iPlayer. Here comes Iqbal bowling to Eccleston, who drives into the onside. Will probably only get a single. Gibson's pushing for the second, but it's well fielded, so there'll not be a chance. 6 from the over so far. England 158 for 6. Nice hum around the ground. And we see Iqbal's left arm spin from the far end of the ground, bowling to Gibson, who gets in a right old tangle coming down the track, but it's a dot ball.
Well bowled, very well bowled. Not only the 3 fielders outside, so be able to bowl a dot in the last over. That's very good bowling, tight lines.
2 balls left of the innings. Here comes Sadia Iqbal, and a reverse sweep is attempted and brilliantly played. The crowd roar in appreciation for a shot that announced Danny Gibson onto the international scene last summer. With England in a nervy spot against Australia, she played exactly that stroke to get them over the line in a T20 at Lord's. A little less pressure today, but she plays it so well. Moves to 40 from 20 balls, and England 162 for 6.
It's a shot that they've played well today as a whole. England reverse sweep, the reverse sweep, something that they've obviously been working on.
Iqbal bowling to Gibson, who clangs it down the ground for a single. And the final ball of the innings, well, they're going to think about running 2. One of those, actually, it would have been pointless because there would have been a run out. And so the innings comes to an end with England 163 for 6. They were 11 for 4. So I think they'll be pretty satisfied with that. Georgia Ellis?
Yeah, definitely from the position that they were in. I think 163 was something that they could only dream of, but a brilliant partnership between Knight and Jones. The experience of both of those to soak up pressure, to rebuild, and then a real gem of an innings from Danny Gibson to come in 41 from just 21 deliveries.
So England with that horrible start to the innings, with Bouchier out for 4, Wyatt for 1, Capsey for 5, and Freya Kemp run out without scoring. They were 11 for 4 before the end of the 3rd over. I mean, how much of a worry is that? But particularly, again, it's the familiar tale of struggles against spin.
Yeah, look, it's not ideal, is it? I think we are going to have to see over the course of this series, should we see any trends in that. I don't think there's cause for a huge amount of panic. At least they're trying to be positive, and that's the way that they're wanting to play, but they need to learn from it, and they need to learn quickly. And I think looking at the way that Knight and Jones played through that middle and how they were aggressive, but without needing to take unnecessary risks. I think that's the way that England can be playing, and Bouchier, Wyatt, Kemp and Capsey, they'll all be as disappointed as anybody that they haven't been able to capitalise on some good form, and hopefully they'll be able to put it right over the course of the series.
Thank you very much for that. Georgia Ellis, World Cup winner with England, has the England total 163 for 6, led by Heather Knight's 49, her highest T20 score at home, as we were hearing. Amy Jones 37 in her 100th T20 international, and Gibson at the end there 41 from 21, Eccleston 19 from 11. So 2 wickets apiece for Wahida Akhtar and Sadia Iqbal, and Tuba Hassan with the 1 wicket. Leaves England with 163 for 6 on the total, and a target of 164 for this side from Pakistan to get just their 2nd victory in T20s against England. On television right now, we have coverage of this first T20 of the summer with England's women against Pakistan. We're at the mid-innings break, nearly at the conclusion of it, with England having rescued themselves from 11 for 4 to 163 for 6. Really good effort from Amy Jones, Heather Knight, Danny Gibson and Sophie Eccleston after single-figure scores from Bouchier, Wyatt, Capsey and Kemp. So 164 will be the target for Pakistan to chase down, and let me tell you, it is a target that will be their highest successful T20 run chase. The highest chase they've managed is 151, and they've never scored more than 144 in this format, batting first or second against England. So as England head to the middle in their red jerseys and blue trousers, here come the Pakistan openers with Sidra Amin walking out alongside Gul Feroza, and our opening partnership for the 2nd innings standing by, dragged away from the salted caramel ice creams, Emily Windsor and World Cup winner Georgia Ellis. Emily.
Thank you, Henry. Yeah, I feel like the ice cream's going to have to melt for these first 5 overs, but I'm excited to see this start from England. Lauren Bell, who's really taken the lead now of this English attack. The right arm seamer will open the bowling from the Birmingham end. England will be attacking, no doubt, at the start, or slip in play, a deep square and a deep fine leg. Rosa will be facing the first delivery by Pakistan, but Georgia, predictions at the halfway stage, too many?
Yeah, I think so. I think England will be really pleased with that performance after those first 4 wickets fell for just 11 runs. I think everything they did in the next sort of 16 overs was how they want to go about their business, and I was really impressed with the finish, especially from Danny Gibson, a young player coming in trying to cement her spot in the side.
Lauren Bell then from the Birmingham end bowls. That's down the leg side and taken well by Amy Jones, will be signalled a wide.
Yeah, Lauren Bell, who we know very well, probably her first bowling game for quite some time, so be interesting to see how she goes. She can just slot back into doing what she does, but she's been brilliant with the new ball for England in her short career so far. Tall, balls with good pace and that annoying, awful in-swing as well.
Pumping her arms then, long run up bowls, and that's played into the onside. There's no fielder at third, so Alice Capsey is chasing after it. She does well, but Feroza's off the mark. She moves to 2 and the score 3 without loss. 164 runs needed to win in total. So a big ask for Pakistan. You feel like the power play will be key to the chase as well. England have a fantastic bowling attack. 3 spinners, a leg spinner, off spinner and a left arm spinner. There's Bell in again, bowls down the leg side, will be signalled wide again. Score moves to 4 without loss. See that without the all-rounder in Nat Sivabrunt. Danny Gibson, who we've just seen, very impressive innings with the bat. See what she can do with the ball as well, no doubt. Do we expect her to take the new ball, do we think, Georgia?
Oh, that's a good question. Potentially, she may. If she doesn't, she will, I would have thought, definitely bowl in the power play.
Bell in again, that's full, driven beautifully by Feroza. All the way down to long on, that will be 4 runs to her. And that's almost textbook that's intent from goal for Feroza. She's 6 off 2, 8 without loss, Pakistan.
Yeah, I think Heather Knight, be interesting how she juggles all the spin options she has available to her. 2 seamers, Gibson and Bell, and then Glenn, Dean, and of course Eccleston. She could have overs from herself and Alice Capsey as well if she needs them, but I think she'd rely on those 5 to get the job done.
Bell in again, bowl shorter of the length, and that's played in defence this time. Sophie Eccleston does the fielding at mid-off. 2 balls remain this first over. Beautifully sunny out there now. Sunglasses, bright red hats on all the England players in their new kit. I like the red stripe on the trousers actually, Georgia.
Nice addition.
There's Bell from the Birmingham end bowls, and that's driven into the offside through a gap in the covers, and that is 4 runs to Feroza. She's started well here. 12 without loss England. She's on to 10.
It's a good start for Feroza. Nice attacking play. So overpitched from Bell. 2 deliveries, and she's been able to put them away, and shows that it's a good wicket out there. Quick outfield.
It's Bell at the top of her mark again from the Birmingham end into Feroza, and that's in defence. Thinks about a quick single, but Charlie Dean's quick onto that at extra cover. Will be no run. And speaking of a start to the international summer, the official attendance, 12,241 people here at Edgbaston today.
Brilliant.
No better day to watch some cricket. Sun shining. We say it looks warm out there. We're inside of a commentary box, but everyone's in sun hats, t-shirts. It's Bell to Feroza down the leg side, worked into the mid-wicket, shot at the stumps by Bouchier, hands on head, but she would have been safely home. But that's the first over done. 12 without loss, Pakistan, and that's much better than England's start. They were 8 for 1 after the first.
No, it's good. It's good intent from Pakistan. You'd expect them to come out and try and make the most of this power play with the only the 2 fielders allowed outside the circle, and maybe a little bit of rust from Lauren Bell. She wouldn't have bowled since that tour of Pakistan in a competitive game. Just finding her way back into the lineup, bowling again, and you're right, Danny Gibson to take the new ball at the other end, and I think if there's any swing on offer, these two will be very good at finding it. Danny Gibson just bowls in a little away swing, skiddy bowler.
She'll be bowling from the pavilion end with a slip in play. That's a full toss to start, but fielded off her own bowling. There'll be no run. You know a lot about Danny Gibson. Just last Saturday, I recall you getting on one knee, sweeping her for 4 for the final ball of the Southern Vipers innings.
Well, yeah, it was what the situation required, so thought I'd pull that one out of the bag and it came off somehow. But fantastic cricketer, really enjoy watching her.
Gibson in again, form work to pass mid-wicket. Bouchier didn't go to ground, so they're going to come back for a couple. That's one thing Pakistan are, and that's quick between the wickets. 14 without loss, Pakistan, and Amin's off the mark.
I like Danny Gibson. I like the way she goes about her business.
She's quite fiery as well, isn't she?
Is she?
She gets stuck in the battle. Gibson to Amin, bowls, and that's pushed to backward a point. Danny Wyatt in there, no run. When things aren't going her way, she can get a little bit heated, but I quite like that.
Yeah, she's got a bit about her. She certainly hits a clean ball. She bowls that, call it a heavy length, don't we? It's on you a lot quicker than you expect, and she's quite a skiddy bowler, and she's been brilliant for Heather Knight at the death throughout her England career. She's only just starting.
Little hop and a skip at the start of her run up, and that's down leg side, swept out to a deep fine leg. Lauren Bell does the fielding there. Amin moves to 3, and the score 15 without loss.
Now, I think it's always difficult to get into a side that's got Nat Sivabrunt as your frontline all-rounder. Nat would get in any side as a genuine bowler or a genuine batter, so Danny Gibson to be able to break into the side and make such an impact, brilliant for her chances for the rest of this summer.
There's Gibson in again, full toss, and that's driven uppish, but Freya Kemp gets down and keeps it to a dot ball, fires the keeper back in, fires the ball back to the keeper. Good intent. 15 without loss, Pakistan.
She needs to be a bit careful there, Freya Kemp. She doesn't want to be throwing the ball at the batter, because there's a new rule been brought in, isn't there, where you can get disciplinary if you are deemed to have thrown the ball at the batter.
Gibson in, that's a raptor on the pad, then come through for a quick single. Boucher at mid-wickets quickly round, and that's the end of the over. 2 overs gone. Good over from Gibson, just 4 runs from it. 16 without loss, Pakistan.
I realise that sounds quite sinister, but whether accidental or on purpose, you wouldn't think you'd throw the ball at the batter on purpose, but any accidental, you can get in some trouble with the umpires, and we know a little bit about that from Southern Vipers, so got to be careful with their throws out there. England buzzing around the field, lots of energy out there already, and seeing a change to the bowling attack already.
Yeah, Charlie Dean, the off spinner, another Southern Viper, will be bowling in the power play. Big turner of the ball, can vary her pace. She's got 2 fielders out, a long on and a deep mid-wicket. There's the ring on the offside, just 4 fielders there, so bowl straight. She's got to bowl a tight line. She'll be bowling to Feroza, who sweeps that to Danny Wyatt, misfield, hits her boot, and they can scurry through for a single. It's very unlike Danny Wyatt. 17 without loss, Pakistan. Feroza on to 12. Interestingly there, just watching the replay, Charlie Dean bowled that ball basically in line with her front foot, in line with the stumps. As Dean in again bowls, and that's reverse swept. It's hit the glove, so it's popped up. Sarah Glenn and Lauren Bell are after it, and they're going to come back for a couple. Good intent from Pakistan, getting the tricks out. The gaps was there. Amin's on to 5.
Yeah, I like it. I think by bringing out that reverse sweep, it gives Charlie Dean something different to think about. Maybe she moves the mid-wicket across, and that allows her a bigger gap in the leg side.
Dean in again, right arm over, fired in, and that's past the diving square, and that's going to race away for 4. Danny White was really tight in there. Dropped short by Dean, and Amin picks up her first boundary. She moves to 9.23 without loss, Pakistan.
Yeah, it's clever batting. She knows where the gap is. As soon as Dean drops her length a little bit short, she's so quick on it. It wasn't far away from Danny White, but I think only a half chance really. And ball races away to the boundary and pressure back on Dean.
Change in field, mid-on now in the circle, and Danny White out at deep square, and that's an appeal for LBW and given. Amin tries to sweep the ball. Is she going to think about reviewing it? Yes, she has reviewed it straight away, which suggests there might be some bat or glove involved, but Charlie Dean likes it. So do her England teammates.
It looked pretty straight, didn't it? The sweep across the line. Dean very good at varying her pace. Perhaps this delivery just a little bit quicker, hurrying the batter on. I think if it's in line, it's pretty dead. Yeah, I don't think there's any bat involved there, and I think umpire Kim Cotton has got this one right. And ultra edge now, we're just seeing no bat, flat line straight through, and for me that's as plumb as you can get.
I feel like she was so fast to review that without even a conversation as we watch. Now, impact in line, pitching in line, and hitting the wickets. 3 reds, so review lost for Pakistan. And Charlie Dean picks up the first wicket and the score 23 for 1. Amin has to go back to the pavilion for just a score of 9. Charlie Dean will be happy for that. With that.
Yeah, it was a clever piece of bowling. Like I said, using her pace, gets a lot of revs on the ball, and therefore can get a lot of dip as well. And whether that's just done for her there, but to be honest, it looks as plumb as you like. Whether, I don't know if she's signalling whether it's high or not, but she's down on one knee. She can't have too many complaints about that. A good piece of bowling from Charlie Dean, clever change of the field, and then was bowled full and straight, and she's got the rewards.
Yeah, she's a skillful off spinner, is Charlie Dean. She's got a lot of tricks as well, and I think at times that can be a downfall for her, isn't it? But when she keeps things simple, bowls her best ball for as long as possible, she's highly threatening. So the new batter, Pakistan, is Shamas. There's Charlie Dean from the Birmingham end. Bowls to the right-hander, swept, and Lauren Bell's coming round at deep fine, dives on the ball well to keep it to a single. 24 for 1, Pakistan. Again, a very leg side dominant field to Feroza. Just a point cover, an extra cover and mid-off on the offside. There's Dean in, fired in, and that's worked to mid-wicket. They think about a quick single. That would have been a very, very risky single, but that's the end of the over. 3 overs gone, 24 for 1, Pakistan. And a great over from Charlie Dean. Picks up the wicket. And just for the 8 runs.
Yeah, good start from England. I think Lauren Bell in her first over, a little bit expensive, went for 12, but since then, Danny Gibson just the 4, and then Charlie Dean picks up that crucial wicket, stem the run flow, and it's been a good 3/4 of the game so far, I would say, from England's point of view. Obviously not the start that they wanted, being 11 for 4, but the recovery they've shown, and then some lovely lower order hitting from the girl with ball in hand.
Gibson from the pavilion end bowls. That's driven, and that's going to beat extra cover and mid-off. Extra cover was very tight there, and that's going to race away for 4. That's slightly over-pitched by Gibson. Sadaf Shamas punishes it. She moves to 5. 28 for 1.
Yeah, lovely shot. Just, like I said, a little bit too full from Gibson. There's not a huge gap there between Dean and Eccleston at extra cover and mid-off, but it's a beautiful shot to pierce it. Great timing. Races away for 4.
Gibson in again, This time drilled, but to mid-on will be no run. Capsey there does the fielding and fires it into Amy Jones, who has to jump and catch it one-handed. The intensity of England's fielding. I heard an interview actually from Heather Knight, which said how they've been working on the fielding and think that's so important in this short format going into a World Cup in October. There's Gibson, right arm over bowls. That's hit over the offside. That's going to race away as well. It's a lightning outfield. Width and punished again by Sadaf Shamas. She moves to 9, 32 for 1.
Yeah, lovely shot. A little bit of width on offer, so it's a free hit really. Allows her to get her hands through it, up and over the offside, and there's nobody out there. So eyes would have lit up as that ball came down from Gibson, and she saw the line and she saw that she could just wave her hands through it and put away, rightly so.
Pakistan using that extra pace on the ball from the England seamers as Gibson bowls, and that's worked into the onside. Over pitched on leg stump, just touched it, and it's raced to the boundary, but on the onside this time. She moves to 13 off 5, and the score 36 for 1.
And the overcorrection, how often we see that. After you bowl a wide ball outside the off stump, then go too straight onto her pads, and Shamas isn't going to miss out there. Another lovely shot to the shorter leg side boundary. It races away. It's a quick outfield here. Glorious day. And Pakistan looking good.
Slip comes out now as Gibson in bowls, and that's down the leg side. Will be signalled a wide by umpire Sue Redford.
I think speaking to Atif Nawaz, he was saying that should Pakistan keep England to around a 120, 140, even then they may not have the confidence to think that they can chase it down. I think when your hand is forced and you're chasing your 160 score, you have to play that a bit more aggressively, and it's really good to see them coming out with this much confidence and putting pressure back onto England.
Gibson to Shamas, that's bowled, that's driven again, that's beaten this cover ring field, and that's 4 more. What an over this is for Pakistan. Sadaf moves to 17 off 6 balls, 41 for 1.
It's just good batting. It's overpitched from Gibson on 3 occasions, and she's managed to play really good cricket shots, time the ball into the gap, and the outfield has done the rest of the work for her. But it's going to prompt a change here because Gibson's got to do something a little bit different. She can't just keep serving up that length on this wicket. Pakistan are too good for that, and it does bring about a change in the field. The third comes inside the ring, and a deep cover goes out. But yeah, it's a brilliant start from Pakistan.
Freya Kemp will be patrolling that cover boundary. There's Gibson into Shamas, this time short, and that beats backward a point. And third, Freya Kemp, who's absolutely rapid, is chasing after that and tries to pull it back in. I think Danny Wyatt was the fielder who got there in the end, but it's 4 runs. And that was a very expensive over for England. 45 for 1 Pakistan after 4.
Oh, I think it shows it's a good pitch, and the ball is in your area and you can get your hands through it. It's going to race away, and it's a very fruitful for Shamas. She played nicely in there, and pressure back on England now. Pakistan 45 for 1, just the 4 overs. And
if we compare the shots that we've seen in the power play from the Pakistan batters to the England top order, they were 11 for 4 after 3 overs. We're just seeing proper cricket shots here from the Pakistan players.
Yeah, it's been brilliant to watch. Good timing.
Dean to Feroza. That's an appeal for stumping, caught behind, but none of them will be given.
I think Pakistan, what they did was change their pace. They bowled really slowly, which we knew would be a feature of their spin bowling, and it was the undoing for England's top order with the seam as well.
Feroza in, she's gone for the reverse sweep, she's got hold of that. There's a backward a point, Sarah Glenn chasing after it, but save your legs, that's 4 more. Pakistan are on the charge here, they're really putting England under pressure. 49 for 1, 4.2 overs gone. And just a reminder, they require 164 to win.
That was brilliant from Pakistan up top, and it forces a field change, forces that mid-wicket out. Maya Boucher now coming into a second point. Can they sustain this amount of pressure in a run chase where they require 160 though?
Dean in, fired into the leg side, the bottom edge, but Lauren Bell at 45 comes round to keep it to a single.
I think that's where, Atif was saying, to be able to chase down these big targets, that Pakistan obviously need to elongate this partnership and create this amount of pressure on England for long periods of time.
Dean to Shamas, that's worked up to mid-on. There's a mix-up, and they shy at the bowler's end. She went to underarm it, then throw it, but Feroza was back at her mark. 50 for 1 Pakistan, so that's 50 up just in the 5th over. So they're going at an incredible run rate. Outfield lightning fast, as you see the light green and dark green checks. Dean in again, that's worked into the offside, trying to go in the onside and outside edge. Dean just varying her pace, taking a little bit off that one. 1 ball remains of this 5th over. 2 fielders are out, deep mid-wicket and deep square. Dean to Shamas, she sweeps that, and that's a diving effort from Danny Gibson at mid-on. That would have been a hell of a catch if she took that. But that's a dot ball to finish the over. 5 overs gone, 50 for 1. So, and intimidated. This, for me, is a real shock, because I think we talk a lot about Pakistan's batting and potentially the lack of power they have. They're obviously slight batters, but again, we go back to how they're playing these shots. It's proper stroke play.
Yeah, I think it shows how much their skill set has improved over the last few years. We wouldn't have seen them playing reverse sweeps and paddles and all of that sort of stuff against the spin, or having the confidence to, but they've been able to get off to a fantastic start here by playing proper cricket shots. They don't really look in any sort of bother, they don't look under any pressure, they look like they're going out there and playing freely, and it's kind of the way that you have to play when you're chasing a big score, and it's brilliant to watch.
Hello again, Georgia. Here comes Lauren Bell looking to get the breakthrough. As a good straight delivery tucked into the onside. Pressure on England here. Tell you what, this is a good game of cricket we've got in front of us.
It is, and Emily and I were just talking about, can Pakistan sustain this? That's the challenge for them as a squad. Can they sustain this level of pressure on England for another 110 runs? And they haven't done it in the past, but that doesn't mean that they can't. It's just, I would love to see it. I would love to see it today.
Here comes Lauren Bell once more over the wicket. Oh, it's a beautiful ball. Is that a brilliant catch from Amy Jones? I think it is. That's an astonishing take from the England keeper, playing her 100th T20 international. Mobbed by her teammates, wrong-footed inside edge. She plunged to her left and takes a one-handed grab to give England the breakthrough they were looking for. 50 for 2. Jones will seldom have taken a better one than that.
Oh, it's brilliant. She's the best in the world for a reason with her glove work. So quick to dive the wrong way and under edge, and the reactions that she has and the athletic ability to be able to change her momentum, going from right to then go back left, make a dive and then take the catch as well. And then she didn't even celebrate, did she? Just like a regulation take for Amy Jones. She is that good, and boy did her side need that.
Hard to overstate how tough a chance like that is to take. And you're going to take an opportunity to have a break, is what you're going to do.
Wow.
Georgia, thank you very much indeed. One World Cup winner replaced by another. And for the first time today, hey, this is a thrill. Catherine Siv up front.
Hello.
Hello. How are you? I have missed you terribly.
Fantastic.
How are you?
What a catch from my 100th cap best mate.
I know. And
Lovely.
You gave the presentation earlier?
I didn't, because I had the choice. I turned it down. Just got a lot on today. Made me feel a bit sick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've done them before. I've done a fair few actually over my time. That's what you get for being around for a long time. But Beth Langston, our other best friend.
Yes.
She stayed at my house.
Here
tonight.
comes Lauren Bell round the wicket. Full delivery, tucked into the onside by new batter Ali. 50 for 2, no run.
She delivered said speech, and she sent me it yesterday saying, "Is this okay? I need some inspiration." And I just said, "Speak from the heart, girl, and you'll be fine. Just you doing it will be enough." But I'll tell you what made that catch so good is that in women's cricket, the pace and carry isn't quite there most of the time. So because she's stood quite close behind, it's quite a quick reaction.
And it's dipping as well.
Yeah.
Here comes Lauren Bell outside the off stump, slapped
Shot.
away over the offside. There's going to be runs there. Freya Kemp is herring after it towards the Holly stand. She will hold it in as one of 3 England fielders in pursuit. Danny Gibson and Heather Knight duck out of the way as the throw comes in.
She's picked up a bit of pace, Freya.
Yeah.
Usain Bolt then. Fantastic.
What did you make of England's start today? I mean, obviously it wasn't very good.
Well, probably what everybody else made of it, except I didn't think we'd not score runs. I think there'd been a lot of people sat there going, oh my God, what is this? England are rubbish. But I just thought, well, this is how they want to play.
This is edge down towards deep third, but a fielder will move round to pick up. It's Alice Capsey out there in the distance in front of the scoreboard.
I don't think they wanted to, execute badly or play early or not really switch on to what wicket they're playing on or let the occasion get a hold of them, but they do want to come out and play aggressively. Now they've got to figure out what that means before the end of the year, but there's a shed load of time and a lot of cricket before then, so it was fine. For me it was fine. It wasn't fine, but it was fine. No doubt about that middle order and that experience being able to do something like that.
This is nicely pushed off the back foot. It's going to bring 4 runs square on the offside. That's a great shot from Sadaf Shamas, who moves to 25, and a lovely back foot drive. 57 for 2. Power play comes to an end with Pakistan well in this game. The question, as we say, can they sustain it? But in some ways, Catherine, you've played in many of the series. We've seen many series where England have been able to go through the motions because the opponents haven't been strong enough. But in a World Cup year, you want to be tested.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what Pakistan's doing, and they keep doing in recent times against other teams, is showing that they're not the Pakistan team of 5-10 years ago. They have moved on. Their bowling is better. Their bowling thus far is way more disciplined than ours right now. There was a lot more movement from them. And the lengths and lines that they've bowled, I would like to see a stat on it, but I would like to think their groupings are a hell of a lot better than ours. We've given a lot of freebies away. Now, whether the pitch is playing a bit better, you could argue, but there's no excuse for missing your line and length at this, at an international level. So,
what do you put that down to?
Certainly the occasion. There's a lot of factors. This is the first game, new kit, sold out ground.
Here comes Eccleston starting a spell. That's onto the pads, and a little bit of a freebie first up that's going to bring 4 runs. Muniba Ali, who scored a brilliant 100 against Ireland in the T20 World Cup, gets her first boundary with easy runs down the leg side. 61 for 2.
Sometimes just expectation can get you when you're, top 2, number 1, number 2 in the world, and they're at the bottom. You're just expected to win, and you're Sophie Eccleston, you're expected to be brilliant. It's just started with a boundary, but it's not easy.
No.
It's the same. Everybody's got this the same. We're on a level playing field.
Eccleston bowls, played back with a straight bat by Muniba, back towards Sophie Eccleston. England move the field around, so short third becomes short fine leg. Pakistan 61 for 2.
But this is the beauty of T20 cricket. Anything can happen. It takes 3 balls only.
Here is Eccleston, defended once again, leaning forward.
And you can see they're going to take what they can with Sophie, but there's plenty of respect there. They know she's number 1 bowler in the world and probably their, toughest challenge, so I doubt they'll be tucking into her much.
Sweep there is a decent shot, but that fielder who has moved across, Lauren Bell, will field. Throw comes in, but not before the single is taken. 62 for 2. The sun just peeping out again.
And they've had a lot of time off. They went to New Zealand just obviously, but they've had time off since then. And this is the first game back for nearly a lot of these. A fair few. Nat's not played yet. Amy's not played yet. I want to say someone else, but I can't remember. Alice Capsey's not played yet. There's a lot of girls not played in a month or so.
Big drive is not really timed from the bat of Sadaf. The first time really in the innings. So 25 from 12.
The rhythm will come as the series goes on. I have no doubt England will get better as it goes on.
In comes Eccleston round the wicket. A little bit quicker and flatter. That's a nice looking shot. And well stopped by Sarah Glenn. moving to her left at backward point, although little fumble allows a single, and 7 overs gone. It was brief, but it was glorious. You're off.
Get off.
Go.
Have you had enough of me?
Be gone with you, Catherine Sciver-Brunt. The television calls, BBC Two. Thank you so much.
A little coffee and a biscuit. Enjoy.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you very much, Catherine Sciver-Brunt, England legend, and I don't say that lightly. And she knows what it's all about when you have to hang up those bowling boots, much like we're going to see with Jimmy Anderson with that first Test match of the summer. Look out for tail enders, where he talks through that decision and why that Test match at Lord's against West Indies is going to be the swan song for Jimmy Anderson. 63 for 2. George Relwas back alongside me. We're going to see Sarah Glenn come into bowl, and she spoke about competition for places in the press conference earlier this week. She wants to see plenty of challenge, plenty of others standing up, and that's what tends to be the basis of a good squad. She's going to get a bowl.
Yeah, and somebody who missed out a little bit in New Zealand, she with a concussion, so it's good to see her back.
Here comes Glenn, long sleeves, and first ball, the skiddy leg breaks. They're almost top spinners. They don't turn laterally that much, but they do come on quickly. And a dot ball well taken by Amy Jones behind the stumps. 63 for 2. Glenn holds the ball in front of her, moves in now over the wicket, a little bit more air this time, inside edge, which then hits Amy Jones' pads, and then a fumble from, I think that's Charlie Dean there. And there will be a single taken, so 64 for 2 now. Sarah Glenn, who quietly actually racked up quite a lot of games. This is her 58th T20 international.
She's been really dependable, hasn't she, for Heather Knight throughout her career. She's not often used in the power play, tend to use it more through that middle phase, and Heather Knight knows exactly what she's going to get, but it's really difficult to get away. That skiddy top spin, like you said.
Bowls to the left-handed Muniba Ali, who's going to get runs here, swept hard into the onside, and Maya Bouchier has no idea where that ball's gone, but she has stopped it. Put the body on the line, diving to her left, and one of England's strongest fielders does a really good job out there at deep mid-wicket. 66 for 2. Yeah, you mentioned the concussion. Sarah Glenn missed the last 2 T20s, all of the ODIs in New Zealand. Banged her head in the first game.
Nasty, and I think because it wasn't her first episode of concussion, they have to be really careful with the return to play.
A little paddle is attempted, goes into the gloves of Amy Jones. I think that's the easiest catch she's probably ever taken. There was one a few minutes ago that was arguably the toughest. That was literally stand there and wait for it to drop into your gloves very gently. And so Jones with another catch, and Pakistan lose another wicket. 66 for 3.
Yeah, 2 very contrasting dismissals for Amy Jones. So nonchalant she was. I wasn't even sure there was a little tickle on it, but yeah, the celebration again. Sarah Glenn picking up crucial wickets through that middle phase for England, as she does so often. It's great to see her back. She was desperately disappointed to have to end that New Zealand tour early, and it's good to see her back in good health and back out there doing what she loves. And I think she'll play a huge part in England's summer and beyond. Somebody like her in Bangladesh will be really difficult. She doesn't get a huge amount of turn on flat wickets, but I think maybe in the subcontinent she'd be one of those bowlers that you're not actually quite sure whether it's going to turn, whether it's going to go straight on. I know she works on her different variations and her different deliveries, so she'll be a big part of the plans for this summer and beyond.
Well, Lady Boom Boom strides to the middle. Nida Dar, the captain of this Pakistan side, playing her 148th T20 international, defending first up. It's a great nickname. What would your nickname be? Have you got one?
The Lady Block.
No. You've been in excellent form in the Rachel Hayhoe field, so don't give me that. In comes Sarah Glenn. A sweep is attempted. That's nicely played out towards Capsey at backward square leg. And Dar gets up and running with a single. The target is 164. 8 overs gone, 67 for 3. Interesting hearing what Catherine was saying, that people will say, oh, England are rubbish, 11 for 4, but actually, it's not that simple.
Yeah, it's good to get that, I suppose, insider point of view from her, and she knows what they're working on and how they're trying to play. And so we can't criticise too much if they are wanting to be positive. Obviously, it wasn't the start that they would have wanted to their international summer, and some young players at the top of that order would have been nervous. And like she said, some of the girls haven't played a huge amount of cricket. I mean, there's been cricket available for them to play, but some of them have wanted rests and elected not to play. So, a mixed bag.
Sophie Eccleston continues from the City end. Quicker ball is paddled by Nida Dar at the start of the 9th over for a single. I can tell you Nat Siver-Brunt's currently being interviewed by BBC Television. I saw her going through some bowling preparations prior to today. She misses today's game, minor medical procedure, but she'll be back for the game at Northampton on Friday, which you'll be able to listen to and watch the highlights of. 68 for 3. Eccleston, who's got a new pair of sunglasses today, this season. Even louder than last year's particularly loud versions. This is driven through the offside. A rather falling in stages attempt at stopping it from the England skipper Heather Knight, and the ball goes to the boundary, and I'm afraid that effort right on the ropes was an awful one. I can't see who it is out there. Is that Alice Capsey? I think it is, and that must be stopped. She got there, and it was proper London Bridge stuff, just leapt over it.
Yeah.
72 for 3.
They're good mates, those two, so I'm sure Sophie Eccleston will be having a word with her later.
She had quite a lot of ground to make up and did well to get there, but then rather messed it up at the end. Chamas defends. Bouchier moves to her left to collect from mid-wicket. We've got fielders in the deep. Deep cover, long on, deep mid-wicket and backward square leg. Chamas waits for Eccleston. A flick of the wrist will only find Bouchier at mid-wicket. There's no run. 72 for 3, chasing 164. 164 that England looked like they would struggle to get anywhere close to that when they were 11 for 4. Here is Eccleston. This is again hiked towards mid-wicket, and once more Bouchier busily to her left to pick up and saves the run. So I think Bouchier may be saying to Alice Capsey, well, I've made up those runs.
That was a brilliant bit of fielding in there.
Next coffee on you. 72 for 3. Eccleston emerges from behind Kim Cotton as this is slashed towards backward point, and Sarah Glenn will field. And so dot balls racking up in that over from Eccleston. Frustration from Sadaf Chamas, who does that thing that batters do when they're frustrated, which is whack the end of the bat on the sort of top of the helmet as if to chastise themselves. 72 for 3 after 9.
I think she's been a bit hard on herself because there's not a huge amount I don't think that she could have done with that. Sophie Eccleston over. See just time and time again how consistent she is. That's the ball a bit stringy, and what makes her the best in the world at what she does. And she's only just turned 25. It's quite remarkable. And
who's Sophie Eccleston? She is still only 24.
Well, it's her birthday not long ago.
Oh, was it? Oh, well, let me have a look. Actually, now you've got me worried.
Yeah, I think she's... well, let's see what...
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. Do you know, it's because I made my notes a week ago.
There you go.
There you go.
Too keen.
Here is Glenn sweeping. First ball is Nida Dar out towards Freya Kemp, who is a rangy figure out on the boundary. 73 for 3. Sophie Eccleston, who made her debut, let's not forget, as a 16-year-old, so she's almost been playing for a decade. Makes you feel old, doesn't it?
It does.
Here comes Glenn, and a huge heave is played into the pads and drops towards Lauren Bell at short fine leg. 73 for 3. I mean, the way to really feel, you know, I'm not... There's so many ways I look around in the modern world to feel absolutely ancient. As Sarah Glenn bowls, and this is slashed out towards deep cover for a single. And the score moves to 74 for 3. But you look at when James Anderson started his international career, as we have been doing, he's had 10 different test captains.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? From Nasser Hussain to Ben Stokes.
That is quite remarkable.
Sarah Glenn creeping in once more. A little paddle attempted. Appeal for LBW is given. Up goes the finger from Sue Redfern, and Nida Dar looks with dismay and then immediately reviews the decision. It possibly a little high would be the only thing for me, Georgia.
She moved a long way across, didn't she? So I don't know that the line is going to be a problem. I don't know whether she got a little glove on it, but as you well know, my umpiring skills are terrible, and from up here even worse. So I had to wait for the old replays.
Well, the first front-on view tells us that it pitches around about middle stump, and well, I think she's gloved that, hasn't she? Amy Jones's appeal was not that convincing. Here we go. This will give us some info. Yeah, big chunk of glove on that, so it won't be out. And so umpire Sue Redfern will have to change the decision. I can see why she gave it, because one of those that there's a lot of sort of bat and pad going on.
She missed out on the run then, as she needed her.
Well, this is one of the great loopholes in the game, isn't it? What happens if that's the final ball of the World Cup final? Review and LBW's decision where you might have run through for a leg bye, or indeed, actually, it would have been a run.
Yeah.
What happens? And that was a legitimate run. She's gloved it round the corner. Here is Sarah Glenn looking for a second wicket. That's not quite such a good ball. It's down the leg side, but she's missed out there. Has Nida Dar. She'll get a single only. 75 for 3. One ball away from the midway point in this run chase, with Pakistan going okay, but they need to have a couple of big overs, you sense, to get back on track. And looking to accelerate things is Sadaf Shamaz, who drives through the offside. There's a chase for Danny Wyatt, who does very well indeed out at deep cover. Picks up, throw comes in, and there will be a couple of runs to conclude the 10th over. And the target is 164, so not quite halfway there, but they're in a decent spot. 87 to win, a required rate of 8.7. England favourites from here, but there is still a chance, particularly with Shamaz there on 34 from 23. Georgia Elwis, some more thoughts from you, and then it'll be Emily Windsor.
Yeah, it's certainly been a good start to this run chase from Pakistan. Chasing a lot more than they would have thought when they had England 11 for 4. 160 on the board for England, and Pakistan have made a good start. Lost a couple of crucial wickets, but the Shamaz is still there. 34, joined with her captain Nida Dar, and they're going along nicely. It's that ability to keep that going, to keep the run rate going. Can they find 8.7 runs and over? The required run rate is up to, and my gut feeling tells me that England can close this out, but with only 10 overs to go, it just takes one person, doesn't it, and one big partnership in T20 cricket, and we've seen that so often. Can Pakistan do that? Can they sustain this pressure for long periods of time?
Well, at the same stage, England was 63 for 4. Pakistan are 77 for 3. But Pakistan just don't have that batting depth on paper that England had. And do they have that Danny Gibson at the back end of the innings that can play the way she'd played so freely? It was game-changing, really. 41 off 21 deliveries. If England pick up 1 or 2 wickets, the game's there. Sadaf has played beautifully, 34 of 23.
I think it'll give Pakistan confidence that, you know, if they can restrict England to scores of 130, 140 throughout this series, then they won't be too far away. If they can continue to play in this manner, I think they've been really sensible in the way they've gone about it, not reckless at all. They've played good cricket shots, they've timed the ball, they've brought skill sets out that have improved over the last 12 to 18 months. We've seen reverse sweeps and the likes against the spin bowlers. So that, you know, they've got the skill sets there, and I think a lot of it with a side like Pakistan is that belief and being able to do it against the bigger teams. They've just come off a bad series loss against the West Indies, and coming straight into a series here against a really good England side is a tough challenge for them, but I think they'll get some confidence from playing well in snippets in games.
Dean then into the attack, and that's a player miss outside the off stump. Amy Jones with her classic fast hands. No run. You sense as well when, as soon as the field spread, so after that power play into that 7th over, the boundary flow has just slowed, and England have regained that control. As Dean in again bowls, and she's pushed that into the offside. Clever batting. Just let the ball come. Comes through for a quick single. Dar to 5.
Yeah, it's been Eccleston and Glenn into the attack, hasn't it? And it's been able to stem the run flow, and I think that's what Heather Knight knows that she can get out of those two. I'd like to see Lindsay Smith given some opportunity throughout this series as well, just to show what she can do and put a case forward for her.
Dean in again, bowls. That's worked into the onside. They're going to run the first one hard, but Danny Gibson's out there at long on and is very quick. Fires the ball back into Charlie Dean. 84 required from 56 balls. That just feels a lot.
Feels like too much, but I think crucial partnership here. These two have got to do the bulk of the run scoring.
Dean to Dar, as that's worked into the onside. They think about a quick single mix-up, fired in by Capsey and a run out. Sue Redfern doesn't even send it upstairs, gives it out on field, and that's the big wicket. The one we said, the batter we said, Sadaf Shamas was key. They were going to get close to this, and her captain Dar has sold her down the river.
It's an absolute waste, that, really. She's just tapped it into Alice Capsey's hands. She says thank you very much. Regulation piece of fielding, and Shamaz has to go, and she's absolutely furious. She's smacking her bat on her pads on the ground. Can't believe her captain has just run her out. And for me, I don't like the way Nida Dar's come out. She's been quite, pokey. She's tried to just defend the ball into gaps and scamper up the other end. I'd like to see her being a little bit more aggressive, hitting the ball out into the deep, and getting a chance to score twos, to score boundaries. And I think that was a pressure run created by some really good bowling from England through this little period, and a bit of needless running, really.
Yeah, Sadaf Shamas went for 35 off 24 deliveries. Played beautifully, but she's now back in the pavilion. And the new batter will be on strike, as that's a player miss outside the off stump by Pravas. 79 for 4 now. The target of 164. This England crowd sitting on the edge of their seats as Dean in bowls, and that's a thick outside edge. Sarah Glenn doesn't bother chasing after that, as that's going to race for 4. Pravas is off the mark, 4 off 2. The score 83 for 4. 11 overs gone.
That's a good start. Good start to her innings. I mean, be aggressive and be positive, and that's what Pakistan have got to do. I think when the run rate creeps up to 9 and over as it is now, it means that you've got to play more aggressively, and they can't just be content knocking it about and going at 4 and over. They need to look for these boundaries. There's plenty of them on offer out there. I think it's a quick outfield, it's a good wicket. They've got to be smart in the balls that they pick and their shot selection, especially against such an experienced spin attack. The likes of Sarah Glenn coming in and bowling a 3rd over now, and I think she's really been so dependable for Heather Knight throughout her career. You know exactly what she's going to get, and England's smart with their fields.
Sarah Glenn, leg spinner then bowls, and that's hit on the pad. Maybe an inside edge, half a pill, but will be no run. Sarah Glenn, 6th in the ICC rankings in T20 cricket. England have a few bowlers in there. As Glenn in again bowls, that's heaved into the onside. Crive catch it, Maya Boucher under it, great catch to her right. And Nadine Dar, the Pakistan captain, has got to depart for 5. Ran her teammate out, and then she follows that up by getting out in the next over. 83 for 5 now.
Yeah, it's just a pressure shot, isn't it? I think pressure was building, run rate going up to 9 and over, and unfortunately for her, she got good clean contact but picked out Maya Boucher in the deep, and she's such a fantastic fielder. She's not going to drop that catch.
Look at that for a celebration, wiggling the finger, playing up to the Hollies is Maya Boucher out on that boundary. Great to see. Fabulous crowd here today enjoying the cricket. Back to those ICC rankings. Sophie Eccleston, where do you think she is? Where does she always stay? Number 1. Charlie Dean, she's sitting 4th. Lauren Bowles at 11th. So a lot of the English bowlers are up there in T20 cricket. New batter for Pakistan. Here's Khan. Sarah Glenn with 3 on her back stands next to the umpire Sue Redfern and bowls off the back foot, cut nicely. Danny Wyatt's at a deep wide cover, so we'll pick up the ball. Does well, the crowd likes that. It's busy to our left as we look from the pavilion. Off the mark with 2.
I think it's a really clever field actually from England for Sarah Glenn. A deep point, only 4 on the offside. You don't often see that for Sarah Glenn, but it allows her to have that mid-wicket in the ring and create pressure by bowling dots.
Glenn in again. That's an appeal for LBW. Georgia Elwes has given it. Sue Redfern hasn't. But I think this might go upstairs. Yep, Heather Knight gives it the tee. Right, Georgia Elwes.
Well, me giving it is no indication of whether it's out or not, because I'm a terrible umpire. But Sarah Glenn was convinced, wasn't she? And it looked straight enough from here. I wonder if the overturned decision was maybe playing in Sue Redfern's mind. Maybe it's hit a little bit outside the line, but looked good to me. But like I said, I've got no umpiring credentials whatsoever.
Maybe umpire's call on pitching.
Yeah,
outside leg, maybe.
Potentially sliding down. I think
Amy Jones liked it though. She gave it a big appeal.
No bat involved, so there's a flat line on ultra edge. No bat involved. I think it could perhaps stay umpire's call with ball tracking. Means they won't lose their review if it does.
There we go. As we see the ball tossed down, pitching in line, impact in line, wickets umpire's call. So, good one to review from Heather Knight. Sarah Glenn, what she does so well is hit the stump so often, doesn't she? She just bowls that nagging line, the ball skids on. She's not a big turner of the ball, but she makes the batters do something different. As Glenn in shorter this time, and that's pulled, but can only find Charlie Dean at mid-wicket.
Yeah, Henry and I were having this conversation about Sarah Glenn. Actually, in the subcontinent in Bangladesh with pitches that do turn, she could be even more difficult to play because she will get the odd one to then skid on, but she also may get the odd one to grip and turn, and I think that will be a nightmare for batters to deal with.
79 required from 49 balls then off the back foot, and that's taken by Amy Jones. She's appealing like it's out. They're celebrating, but Sue Redfern's not moved. They might review this again. Amy Jones looked convinced they do. Amy Jones was almost celebrating straight away, wasn't she?
She didn't even give it an appeal, really. She just celebrated, walked off, and said to Heather Knight, review that straight away. She was, I mean, I think it's the only thing it could have hit was bat, because she was playing a cut shot away from her body. Amy Jones absolutely convinced that there's been a little edge on this. I have to wait for ball tracking and ultra edge.
Big bat lift, wasn't it? Oh, has that hit the stump?
I think it may have done.
The bails are still on. It's hit, looks more close to me to the stump than the bat, but we shall see. As we watch ultra edge come through, it's hit the pad. So it's hit the back pad, but the ball will keep going through to see if it does make contact with the bat. Frame by frame. Oh, is there a little spike? No.
Do we get the LBW review though?
You do.
With this, and I think that could quite well be our LBW.
It's not the appeal they were going for, but we're joined by Atif Nuaz as well. What do you reckon, Atif? Join us. Give us a decision. Come on.
I don't think it's not caught anyway. We can tell you that much. It's not taking any bat. They're looking at it because there's a teeny tiny reverberation, but it's almost the sort of line you get when the sound of the ball going close to the bat. It's almost like a near touch, so it's a false positive. I don't think it'll be overturned on the basis of that, but they might have a look at the LBW.
Tough one for Anna Harris, isn't it?
Yeah, pressure decision, because it's a big moment in this game as well. We'll have to wait and see. It's a long old review.
There you go. She's acknowledged a small spike, but she said she can see a gap, but it's going to be ball tracking.
LBW in play.
Impact umpire's call. Oh, wickets umpire's call. That had it all.
Well, there's a couple of let-offs here for Pakistan. Really, really marginal calls going in their favour. Could have gone for England, and still 79 needed of 48. So the game's not quite in the bag yet for England. They'll want these dismissals.
I can tell you one thing though, it's been an action-packed game, isn't it? First match of the international summer here at England. I think that's the end of the over.
It is, yeah.
Slight delayed. Sue Redfern and Kim Cotton have both just stood talking to each other. There's Lauren Bell down there is enjoying with the crowd. Charlie Dean.
On the boundary as well. After that catch, there was a lot of love on the boundary from the Holly stand. It's a different kind of energy from the Holly stand today. Like it's quite boisterous usually, and it is boisterous, but in a different way.
Family-friendly way. Look, we got some lifeguards in.
Yeah, totally.
Alex Hartley, if you can watch on BBC Two, on the TV pictures, she's currently in the crowd with the lifeguards.
Yeah.
Would you back Alex Hartley to save your life if you needed a lifeguard?
I think it'd be difficult for anybody because I can't swim. But
so you need Alex Hartley.
I need Alex Hartley. I might need like everybody. I might need the whole BBC Sport team to come and rescue me if that happens. But yeah, this game is still on. I've got to tell you, I'm really pleased with the way this game has gone here. That England have been given a serious challenge by this Pakistan team. A lot of people were anticipating a one-sided game, but they were reduced to 11 for 4. They had to show character, come back, and again they were put under pressure. Pakistan were going at 8 and over at one stage, and they're still not out of this game. 79 or 48. Sort of history tells us that England will get over the line here, but it's not in the bag just yet. And the T20 cricket is variable, so this has been a very promising performance from the tourists.
I'm really interested what's going on here because the umpires were still having a bit of discussion. Then Kim Cotton has gone to have a conversation with Heather Knight.
You're probably asking the football scores, though.
Who's gone up in the championship? Who's gone down?
There's a lot of it about nearly done with it for the season.
If we find out why.
I think it's to do with England losing that review, because on the scoreboard it says England's DRS reviews is 0, but because the decision was umpire's call, Heather, I think, is arguing that they should keep that review.
But they were appealing for a court behind. It's Eccleston from the Birmingham end. That's an appeal for a court behind this time, and given. It was very muted by this England team. It was as if to say, fine, if that one's not out, this one is.
Now she's having a chat, Natalia Perez with Fatima Sana. They're thinking about the review, but now Fatima Sana's told her to go. You kind of know if there's a batter if you've hit it, and you're definitely going to get found out on the review. So there's no real discussion necessary at that stage. You kind of just walk off. But now you feel like England have this game very much in control with Pakistan 6 wickets down. A couple of softish dismissals here, a few sort of underwhelming moments from Pakistan.
Pervez gone for 4 runs. 79 required from 47. 85 for 6.
I think you see all the experience, don't you, of England, and Sophie Eccleston and Sarah Glenn bowling the majority of the overs through this middle phase, and they've been able to apply that pressure because they've been in these situations for so many times over a number of years, and they know exactly what to do in those situations. And for Pakistan, probably chasing 9 and over, 10 and over, it's a big ask for this middle order.
Yeah, it is up at 10s now. Massive chase. We see the ultra edge confirmed. It's in the gloves. So back to the pavilion. 85 for 6. Sophie Eccleston. That's her first wicket. Shamim, the new batter. It's Eccleston just changing her field because she's left-handed, which always brings a bit of chaos. I don't know about you, Georgia, but when I'm in the field and there's a left hand, right hand, oh God.
You know what we should have? A whiteboard that tells you where your fielding positions are.
That'd
and then you wouldn't have it.
Such a good idea, wasn't it? Eccleston in bowls, and that's pushed into the offside. They come through for a quick single. Strike straight away. 86 for 6. Does that sound a great idea to you, Ati?
Yeah, absolutely. I do a lot of training for sort of emerging commentators in county cricket, and and sort of domestic cricket generally. And like one of the things you come across the most is people being thrown by left-right combinations, or when the over is bowled from the other end. So I reckon get online, get on one of those auction websites.
If that's defended, will be no run.
And get yourself one of them tea towels. There's a tea towel. It's got all the fielding positions you could need. You get the tea towel. You can actually get all sorts of things. You can even get underpants, really, but it's a bit difficult to consult those when you're on commentary, obviously. So tea towel's the way to go.
Eccleston in advances. That's played back to her and fielded well off her own bowling. Will be no run. Hypo Corst keeping us updated with some stats. It's the first time Amy Jones has taken 3 catches in the same ODI. She's constantly breaking probably her own records, isn't she, Amy Jones? So good behind the stumps. Played beautifully with the bat today. We've got a partnership with Heather Knight as Eccleston in slower, and that's played and missed.
It was a match-saving partnership, really, from the pair of them, between Heather and Amy. They just stabilised. Again, it was all about experience. That was all about class and experience of just weathering the storm and not being overwhelmed by the scenario.
Eccleston in again, advances, plays back to her again, fields off her own bowling.
And that's something this Pakistan team will learn from. That will have been one of their objectives before this series, to come over here to sponge almost off this England team a little bit. They know there's world-class players with world-class facilities, a world-class setup, one of the best, if not the best team in the world. So if you're going to spend time with them, make sure you learn about these scenarios. England will be able to reflect on being at 11 for 4. So there'll be moments in the World Cup later this year where they'll be, under the cosh, and they'll know that. Well, we remember when we were at Edgbaston, we recovered from 11 for 4. Similarly, Pakistan will remember. Remember that moment we had England at 11 for 4? We can do that to anybody. So it's such a valuable opportunity for any team to come and tour England, but more so for a team like Pakistan that don't often get this kind of world-class quality opposition in their own backyard.
Eccleston again joining the crowd with the clap as we see Seam brought into the attack. Lauren Bell, and that's guided but dived on in the ring by Sarah Glenn. Good piece of fielding to keep it to a single. Shamin will move to 2. 87 for 6. 77 off 41.
There's a lot of pressure on Fatima Sana. It's really on her now. Ramin Shamin doesn't have a ton of experience playing for Pakistan. A lot of pressure on here, but it's really Fatima Sana with all of her experience at the ripe old age of 22.
Foul to Fatima. Bouncer chipped into the onside, lands safely. Charlie Dean keeps it to the single.
I like that intent from Fatima. Lauren Bell running in, tall fast bowler. Bumper at 67. I'm going after it. I like that attack, and it's again something she's benefited from in Fatima Sana in playing in the Women's Caribbean League, where she played for the Barbados Royals, and also when she played in New Zealand for the Canterbury Magicians. You just pick up on these personality traits.
Bouncer again by Lauren Bell. I think that'll be called one for the over this time. Was missed by Ramin.
Another dot ball, another one that squeezes that equation. 76 from 39. As Pakistan look for an unlikely attempt at this run chase, what would be a record run chase for them. But again, it's just those experiences are so valuable. The more you get to travel, the more you get to play against varied opposition, the more you grow as a cricketer, and it's evident in the way they've approached the game today.
Fiery over this from Lauren Bell so far, then she opts to a slower ball, takes the pace off, and this time Ramin misses the delivery.
It's just poor quality, wasn't it, from Lauren Bell? Just little fingers over the ball. We've got a little replay of it so we can have a little look. No, it was at the back of the hand, I beg your pardon, but completely deceived the batter, who was through a shot and looking behind her in that slightly embarrassed way that you do sometimes.
Lauren Bell, right arm round the wicket, the quick. Again, slower ball, that's chipped up into the onside. Danny Wyatt's charging in. This will be a great catch, and she takes it. Diving. The crowd will love that one. It was hanging in the air for a long time. But Lauren Bell picks up another wicket. 88 for 7. Now Pakistan. And Shamim has to go.
Yeah, it was a spectacular catch, wasn't it, when you think about it? It went such a long way up in the air. Now, there is less sunshine than there was a little bit earlier today, so that will have helped with that catch. But anytime the ball goes sort of miles above your eye line, you're judging all sorts of things. She had to run in a good sort of 15 yards to get in position. She's diving in front of her, dropping to her knees, and taking that quite spectacularly. That is as good a catch as you'll ever see from Danny Wyatt as Ramin Shamim walks off. Really, really impressive stuff. Real highlight moment, that. One of those things I'm sure you can find on the BBC Sport website and app a little bit later on.
Wow, that was good, Atty.
Slick.
It was how you looked at me as you said, and Georgia, as you said it, as if to say, I'm dropping that one.
Feeling confident today. Feeling good.
Good performance from yourself then?
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. I think better than expected.
Okay.
It's been lovely really today. It's the first day of the international season. We're going to have all of it, of course, here on BBC Test Match Special. All of these 6 games in this series, the 4 games in the Pakistan and England men's series as well. And then so much more exciting cricket to come in the summer. But all of it we'll have on the radio or on the telly today, which is exciting as well. But it's just nice to get the cricket in the sunshine in Birmingham. What more could you ask for?
Lauren Bell into the new batter, Hassan. That's full pace off again and taken by Amy Jones. That's a great over from Lauren Bell. 14 overs gone to 6 remain. 76 runs are needed from those 6 overs. Thank you very much to Atif. Nawaz showed us how to do our job there.
Not at all. All I've been hearing from people today is like people are enjoying the radio coverage so much and told me to stick to TV rather than come down. I don't know how to take that really, but you guys, it's wonderful. It's so lovely to work with you guys and just lovely to snap up a little opportunity to sit with you guys and chat cricket.
Thank you, Atif. We've still got Georgia Elwes, World Cup winner, alongside us. Just rest in your vocals for a few overs there, Georgia. Give yourself a little breather. England need 3 wickets to win, and Glenn comes into the attack from the Birmingham end, fielded at backward point by Dean. And I guess this will be something England will be looking to do, is bowl the team out. That's got to be one of their objectives as a bowling unit. You get the team 88 for 7, 5 and a bit overs to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glenn again advances, and she then defends at her feet.
I think with the summer that England have got, they'll be looking at New Zealand later on in the summer and then the World Cup in Bangladesh. They'll be looking at closing out various phases of the game, looking at who can bowl different phases.
Glenn again, that's worked into the onside. They're going to run this first one hard. Danny Wyatt's there. She's so quick across the ground, so keeps it to a single.
So Sarah Glenn, final over, she'll be bowled out, and then you've got 2 from Danny Gibson, 1 from Dean, 1 from Eccleston and 1 from Bell still left. So they'll Heather Knight, how she manages them, how people bowl in different phases of the game, the death overs, that'll be something that they'll be targeting as well.
Glenn from the Birmingham end again bowls, and that's a caught behind appeal again, and is reviewed and sent upstairs by the batter Tuba. She tried to dink that to third man. She doesn't think she's hit it, but Amy Jones and Sarah Glenn do.
Oh, it's all been going on today. It's been all action, lots of reviews, straight upstairs. Amy Jones was convinced a couple of overs ago that there was a nick. There wasn't. And now, again, she is. It's been sent upstairs. Some glove on that, some bat.
Waiting for Ultra Edge as we see it. Yep, gloved it.
Okay, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Surely you know that.
Hassan has gone for naught. 89 for 8 Pakistan. They need 75 off 32, but Georgia Elwes, when you glove a ball, you know you've gloved the ball.
I think you do, yeah. I'm sure really why she's reviewed that, how she hadn't felt the ball hit her glove. I can understand her thinking that she hasn't hit it with the bat, but it can still be caught off the gloves, and
it didn't just skim the glove.
No,
did it? That was like the centre of the glove. It's worrying if you don't feel that.
We'll have to ask her. Not sure.
Well, 89 for 8 now. England need 2 wickets to win. Pakistan need 75 runs from 32 balls. Sarah Glenn, very impressive figures here. 3.4 overs, 3 wickets, but just the 12 runs. She's really made an impact coming on after the power play. As the umpire just takes position, Sarah Glenn approaches to Actor, and that's defended down the pitch, will be no run. tell you what, this trio of English spinners at the moment, if you are going to play two in a team, there's Glenn Bowles, and that's bowled her. Make that 4 wickets, Sarah Glenn. Final ball of her spell. She picks up another. Pakistan are now 89 for 9, and England are on the charge. Actors gone for naught.
Yeah, fading away now, this Pakistan innings. The run rate climbing and only the 1 wicket remaining. It's brilliant from Sarah Glenn, doing what she does best, just keeping the stumps in play, pulling that difficult line, difficult length to get away, and Pakistan really struggling to come up with any sort of options to play her, and she really deserves those 4 wickets that she's taken today. She's been absolutely brilliant, and again, just exactly what Heather Knight needs from her, what she requires, that consistency in the control through the middle overs. I think it's really nice to see her back after struggling with concussion earlier in the year, and probably only just feeling back to herself. I think concussions can be really dangerous, especially when you have a number of them, so it's great to see her back, great to see her bowling well, and for England now, just that 1 wicket left to take to wrap up a brilliant victory after a shaky start with the bat. Recovered really nicely, and really a complete performance, probably with the ball as happy as Heather Knight will be at the post-match.
Back to picking your 3 spinners. If you're picking 2, that's a tough decision, isn't it? It's Danny Gibson into the attack from the pavilion end. That swung away beautifully by Khan, and that's raced through extra cover for 4. 71 needed off 29. 1 wicket, probably the more likely for England, and Henry Moran will join Georgia Elwes World Cup winner to see us home.
Well, what a shot that was. Woof!
Yeah. It was one of, right, what are you lot doing? I'm still here, I'm going to give it a whack. What I like to see.
I tell you what, that was lovely. Through the covers and away it went. 93 for 9, then 71 from 29. Here comes Danny Gibson again, and slightly less well timed this time towards Charlie Dean. And England will win this game in the end pretty comprehensively, but at one stage at 11 for 4, looked awkward.
It did look awkward, and I think Pakistan will be pleased that in parts of this game they've had England under real pressure. I think 11 for 4 is not the start that anybody here expected, and then a fantastic power play for Pakistan with the bat, going 8 and over and putting England under pressure, so they've definitely got some highlights from the game.
Here is Danny Gibson, right arm over, a swing into the offside from the bat of Fatima Sana. 94 for 9. I think it's been a useful test and reminder of the fact that England, while a stronger side than Pakistan, there is vulnerability.
There is, and I think the top order will be really disappointed with their modes of dismissal and how cheap and how soft they were, and hopefully it gives them a little bit more hunger and desire to improve over the next few games. Nice 3-match T20 series and 3 ODIs that they have, Pakistan, and they'll be looking to improve certainly their spin ability.
Round the wicket comes Gibson to Sadir Iqbal, who defends into the offside. I'm never terribly confident when I see a number 11 without a bat sticker. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
There's a sort of, nobody's quite willing to put their name to whatever might be about to happen. But I actually think Sadir Iqbal is more competent than that. Here is Danny Gibson round the wicket, galloping in now, running away from us. Back of the hand slower ball is picked from up here, but not by the batter, who has a very different view of it, of course. Lovely moment just a short time ago. Amy Jones playing her 100th T20 international. Well, the box was shown on the big screen where her family and partner Piper Cleary were waiting and waving, and she caught a sight of it and gave a great big smile, as you would. Here comes Danny Gibson as a full delivery is swung out and missed by Sadia, and what she's done there, with no sponsor on the bat, she's decided, well, if you're not going to sponsor me, I'm not going to even use it. She swings and misses. 94 for 9, 16 overs gone. England looking for the final wicket to wrap things up. First time in a T20 international innings. Let me get the stat correct, because there's always a danger that I won't. But she has taken 3 catches in a T20 international innings. And I think it's worth, on a 100th T20 international, there's a reason that she's so well regarded as a wicketkeeper, and very much with the bat as well today.
Yes, she's had a great all-round performance, hasn't she? She played well in New Zealand when England were over there a couple of months ago, and she seems to have continued that form on today. She loves playing at Edgbaston. I remember her playing some really notable knocks in the Ashes series last year against Australia. He came in and played a crucial hand at the end of one of those T20s, so a great day for her. Family will be very proud.
Here is Charlie Dean, a big swing down the ground from Fatima Sana, and the score is 95 for 9. And here's another great stat actually from Hypercourse. Amy Jones, the first wicketkeeper to both score 30 plus runs, she made 37 today, and take 4 catches in a women's T20 international, which is a surprise. Lisa Healy's not done that.
Yeah, very.
Be the obvious candidate. In comes Charlie Dean. It's well down the leg side, taken by Jones, moving to her right. Kim Cotton signals wide. 96 for 9. Crowd stayed in pretty much in their entirety.
They've been a good crowd as well, haven't they? Well into the game, giving the England players a bit of a boost.
Comes Charlie Dean. Oh, appeal for LBW. They look convinced. Kim Cotton says not out. And Heather Knight is asking the question, puffing out her cheeks, and they can have a look at it. They'll have a check, see if this is out. And Sadia Iqbal looking to sweep. Got nothing on it.
I don't know if Charlie Dean was trying to indicate that she hit it, or if she was flapping her arm to say send it upstairs. Quite worked that one out, but Heather Knight decided to go for it. We'll have a little look.
Well, it looks like it could be drifting down the leg side. Let's have a look. That would be my instinct. Maybe not. I don't think she's got any bat on it. It's not really straightened.
Be an umpire's call for me.
Any bat? No bat. So we will go to ball tracking when available.
She's got no bat stickers and she's got the green gloves. What do you think to the green gloves?
Like the green gloves.
Do you?
Yeah,
nice.
It looks like you might use them to do some weeding. Here we go. Original decision not out. And it pitches outside leg. I think actually it might have gone on to hit. Look at it. Oh, it's only just. Good decision from umpire Kim Cotton, who's wearing those glasses that are sort of sports glasses with clear frames. I think presumably to help with the light, I'm guessing. Polaroid lenses, is that what they call them?
I don't know. I would think they keep the flies out your eyes. That's about it.
Do you know I found a mosquito at home the other day? That's outrageous at this time of year. Here comes the delivery from Charlie Dean. Quicker, flatter. That's beautifully played by Sadia Iqbal. Just a late cut down towards deep third. And number 11, no bat stickers. That's a really good shot. Lovely late cut.
She's proving you wrong, isn't she?
She is. Hundreds up. 100 for 9.
Yeah, a lovely delicate shot. And England becoming increasingly frustrated the longer it takes for them to take this final wicket.
Charlie Dean in the sunglasses round the wicket, slip in place. It's a straighter ball, slower. Pace taken right off it. I think that's something that Charlie Dean's game has really sort of developed in recently, is that change of pace and variation. You know, of course, much better than I from the Vipers. As here comes Charlie Dean again. Big swing into the leg side. Another fine shot out through mid-wicket. Maya Boucher is chasing it. She won't stop it. Oh, where's this beat? Sadia Iqbal moves to 8 from 7 balls. It's 104 for 9.
She's heard you and think, right, I'm going to show him, get myself up the order. It's good resistance. She's having a bit of fun out there, isn't she? And Charlie Dean, it really has improved her skills. Always known that she's a big turner of the ball. She gets really nice flight and dip, but her changes of pace have made her an even better player.
Dean a bit quicker this time. Late cut attempted once more, but Lauren Bell will pick up at short third. Over comes to an end. 17 gone, 104 for 9. She treated that ball not unlike how I treated the mosquito with disdain and outrage. It's early that though, isn't it?
It is early. It's early. We're having a heat wave though, so
I know.
they've come in.
From where?
From your suitcase and your travels.
No, I don't think so. 104 for 9. So who are we going to see here? It's going to be Sophie Eccleston, who will be looking to pick up a second wicket. Brilliant stat that we saw a minute ago. Did we mention this on there? That Sophie Eccleston's now taken 1 wicket at least in her last 14 consecutive T20 internationals. And she bowls now, defended by Fatima Sana into the offside, and there's no run. Eccleston again is standing exactly in front of Sue Redfern, almost as if she's trying to block her view, but then moves to the side to bowl. Forward comes Fatima Sana with a brutal wallop through the offside. Good shot. And some late order resistance being offered by Pakistan, who, make no mistake about it, have given England a scare in this game, both with bat and ball. 108 for 9.
Yeah, it is good batting, but I think it was a case of what if for Pakistan, if they'd been able to bowl a little bit better through that middle period, restrict England to a score of 120, 130. They'd feel like this is really doable.
Eccleston bowls, dropped into the offside, into space. A run will be taken. And I think what the big difference will be sort of continuing going forward from teams like Pakistan as professionalism becomes much more a part of the global game, is we're not going to see those matches where you get a team 4 down, you get them all out, basically. You'll see power right down the order, and that's brilliant for the world game.
It is. It shows the depth. It shows you're never out of a game, especially in a T20. It only takes 1 good innings.
Forward comes Sadia Iqbal, who's looking more and more confident with a block.
Well, I've been really impressed with the skill shown from Pakistan. They come off a really difficult series against the West Indies, come over here and have to play a side like England.
Here is Eccleston onto the pads, very full delivery down the leg side though.
It's a tall order, and I think they've come out and they've exceptional with the ball early on, and that'll give them a lot of confidence going into the rest of the series.
Final ball for Eccleston, who is bowling a loopy, flighted delivery. It's dropped into the offside, and the 18th over concludes with a score at 109 for 9. Now, here's the thing. With the wicket that she took, playing in her 79th T20 international, Sophie Eccleston has drawn level with Catherine Sibber-Brunt on the list of England bowlers at the top of the charts for T20s. 114 wickets at an average of just under 15. I mean, amazing numbers.
Ridiculous, and to think she's still so young. She's got so many more T20s ahead of her. How many matches did it take Catherine?
112.
Okay, it's quite a way ahead.
Yeah, amazing.
For somebody so young, so much on her shoulders, just a brilliant player.
Here is Lauren Bell. Pace taken right off it, dropped into the offside by Fatima Sana. Run taken towards Knight at cover. 110 for 9. The top 5, by the way: Eccleston, Catherine Sibber-Brunt, Anya Shrubsole, Danny Hazel, Nat Sibber-Brunt. And we'll go for 6. Jenny Gunn.
Way.
Who retired way back now in 2018.
There's some very experienced players in there, and you think Sophie Eccleston is going to be top of that leaderboard for a very long time.
Running in, Lauren Bell round the wicket. A short ball which has been chipped in the air. Freya Kemp with the catch, surely. Yes, end of the game. Caught at backward points, and Bell finishes with 3 for. The game concludes with the simplest of catches, a match that started in a horrible fashion for England. They were 11 for 4 early on, but they fought back. Important partnerships from experienced players in the middle order, followed by consistent wickets once they broke through the opening stand, and England take a 1-0 lead in the series. They win by 53.
Yeah, it was a really shaky start from England, but from overs 6 onwards within their innings, I think it was business as usual, and they'll be really pleased with how they've played. how they fought back with the bat. A brilliant innings from Danny Gibson, got them up to a really good total, and then with the ball, I think they've been brilliant. I think they were under a little bit of pressure in the power play, but probably knew that if they could take those wickets, that Pakistan would fall away, and they have done. And I think it's almost like they've remembered how to play cricket over the last 30 odd overs, and that sets the benchmark for their summer. Yes, of course, the top order will want to score runs, will want to contribute, but the fact that they haven't and they've won so convincingly shows the depth that they have in this side, in this squad, and I think Heather Knight will be pleased overall.
Yeah, England 11 for 4 before the end of the third over in their innings, having been asked to bat first, but big partnership between Heather Knight, who made 49, and Amy Jones in her 100th England appearance in T20. She made 37. Danny Gibson played really well, 41 from 21, and Eccleston 19 from 11. That got England to 163 for 6. And though there was a threat from Pakistan when the score was 50 for 1, things were really moving quickly. Gul Feroza and Sadaf Shamas were playing really nicely, but England kept on chipping away, and Shamas top scoring with 35 from 24 was eventually run out. Combination of Capsey and Jones. Jones took 3 catches, including one really special catch diving away to her left. And the innings rather fell away, only 4 making it to double figures. Pakistan all out for 110. Sarah Glenn taking 4 for 12. Brilliant figures for her. Charlie Dean, Sophie Eccleston 1 apiece, and Lauren Bell 3 for 22. If you want to watch this game in its entirety, you can do so on the BBC iPlayer once our coverage on BBC Two comes to an end at your leisure, and the highlights also on the BBC Sport website and app. Georgia Earle, with some final thoughts from you in terms of what we've seen today.
Yeah, I think there's been some real highlights. I think Danny Gibson was exceptional with the bat. I think her innings really got England up to a fantastic score, and I think it'd be really difficult to leave her out for the next game when you've got to bring Nat Sciver-Brunt back in. And I think the dilemmas for England selection wise are really good. I think the fact that they've been able to play 3 spinners, I want to see Lindsay Smith given a go over the course of this tournament, this series as well, and see how she goes and put her case forward. But I think, for England, 30 overs of really good stuff, and they'll be really pleased coming away from it.
It's been a test, no doubt about it, and this is a series that I think is going to offer some really interesting cricket.